In a violent, near-apocalyptic Detroit, evil corporation Omni Consumer Products wins a contract from the city government to privatize their police force. To test their crime-eradicating cyborgs, the company leads street cop Alex Murphy into an armed confrontation with crime lord Boddicker so that they can use his body to support their untested Robocop prototype. But when Robocop learns of the company's nefarious plans, he turns on his masters. Welcome to Midnight Double Feature, and on this episode we'll be covering Robocop, directed by Paul Verhoeven. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Super happy to be covering one of my favorite movies, Robocop, 1987's Robocop, directed by Paul Verhoeven. Zoheb, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm been waiting a while to cover this one. One of my favorite movies. So I was like, okay, you picked Tropic Thunder. I was like, Robocop.
You motherfucker.
But yeah, super excited to be getting into this because this has always been one of my favorite movies since I was a kid. This is actually a really funny story. I'm trying to think. It must have been like 1995 or 1997. I was like 7 years old, somewhere around there, and I'm going through like a Kmart with my mom, and I was like, Mom, look at this movie, and it's just that front cover, and I still remember this to this day. Part man, part machine, all cop, and the cover of it was just fucking brilliant. It just looks so cool. And I was like, Mom, can I please get this movie?
Is that the cover where he's like kind of stepping out of the car?
Oh yeah, for sure. He's got the it's super super iconic. But I was just like, Mom, like, can I get this movie? And I guess she didn't check the rating. I guess she just thought, okay, here's a robot, like here's a cop, like okay, this will be good, blah blah blah. Well, needless to say, it became like a hit between me and my brothers, and we were just like, okay, yeah, we got this, but don't tell Dad about this. Don't tell Dad about this at all. And my mom had no idea. She'd never seen the movie before. But the funny story is, one day I'm sitting there. I'm probably like, like I said, I'm probably like 7, 8 years old. Maybe we've had it for a while, and I'm just watching it one day in my parents' room while they're at work, and my dad comes home. And it's right in the middle of the scene where Robert is like snorting coke off of that hooker's tits.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And dude, he pulled the tape out of the VHS player and like pulled the tape out of the cassette. Like he just like wrapped it up and was just like, nope, like no way. And like to me it blew my mind because I was like, what the fuck?
He did his own version of Bitches Leave.
Yeah, bitches leave. Like, dude, he came in and was so pissed off, and like I kind of get it. Like, I don't think that I would let I don't think that I would let a I don't know if I would let like a 7 or an 8-year-old watch this movie, but I mean, I turned out okay. I think it's.
Did you though?
Yeah, did I? Looking back, did I really? But the violence in this is just so over the top that eventually it becomes, it just becomes like comical. And I as a kid, you don't really understand that, and it's hard for me, growing up, kind of trying to separate what you watched as a kid versus how you feel about it as an adult now. And to me, it took me a long time to kind of come around and this is like a satirical comedy. This is parody in a way. It's all satirical, but when you're a kid under the age of 10, you don't have any idea about satire or anything like that. Most of your comedy is probably slapstick shit anyways. So to me, it was just like this super realistic movie. Like, what the fuck? And now, like, it's odd kind of coming to terms with that, because you watch something for so long thinking it's just like a serious, movie. But that's kind of the best part about it, is like, as an adult, I see like all the satirical comedy now, and I get like all of the parody about it and stuff. But it's a movie with a lot of heart behind it as well. Like, there's just as much heart going into the character of Murphy, and seeing the kind of path that's laid before him, and he's just totally just swept up in all of this. He's just the one party in all of it who's just not guilty of anything, of just being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and it gets really kind of like tragic in that way. But it's kind of hard for me to separate that as an adult now. But I think that a lot of people will look at this and just be like, oh yeah, it's just satirical comedy. It's just satirical comedy. But really underneath the layers of this, there's a lot of heart, and there's a lot of stuff going on for the character of Robocop. And obviously there's a lot of social commentary and stuff that was going on in the 80s. But what did you think? What were your impressions of this?
So it's interesting, actually, because I don't have any sort of childhood sort of memory relating to this at all. I didn't see this as a kid. I didn't see it as a teenager. I literally watched this for the first time a few years ago.
Holy shit!
Yeah. It was always on my radar. Like, I mean, come on, like that name alone, Robocop. That's fucking an awesome name for a movie.
Yeah.
Like, and as a kid, that jumps out to you. But it's just never really something that I sought out or like got my hands on. I didn't. It didn't really. It wasn't really like a thing where I was like, oh shit, I gotta go watch this like right now. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing the poster and shit like that for it everywhere. But yeah, I never really sought it out until I don't know. I don't really know what sort of made me sort of jump up and sort of watch it. Maybe I listened to a podcast on it, and like that's when I kind of like wanted to find it. But no, actually, that was before my podcasting days. I don't know really. And I know it definitely wasn't that remake, which we'll get into, because goddamn that remake. Oh
God, we will not speak of that.
But yeah, look, dude, it's definitely. I'm gonna do a U from Tropic Thunder.
Oh God, here it comes.
No, look, it's a good movie. It's definitely a good movie. I'd even say it's a great movie, but it's not an amazing movie like everyone sort of kind of makes it out to be. I mean, I don't. Okay, I'll say this for the movie. It's very the way it's structured is amazing. Like, this movie is an hour and 43 minutes long, and it uses that time really well. Like, it just starts and it finishes, and it's like it's so lean. It's so like, it feels like a perfect kind of like length for a movie like this. But yeah, that being said, I don't. There's not really one specific thing for me that kind of like takes down the movie from that amazing status, which I know is the opposite of what I just said. But there's nothing that really elevates it for me to that level either. It's definitely a good movie, and I definitely like seeing this story. I think this is gonna sound funny, but it reminded me a lot of Dredd. Doesn't he remind you a lot of Dredd, or vice versa?
Oh yeah. They I think they even had like some RoboCop Dredd comic book crossovers back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, just the way they walk and talk and move and things like that, but also the way they're sort of like they're both. Well, Dredd's a human, but they kind of like robotically stick to the law and things like that. They just, they're unwavering in their sort of in their resolve. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool comparison. But like at that point, by the time I saw this for the first time, I'd already seen Dredd. I'd already seen like something of this nature. But yeah, dude, this movie's a fun watch. Like, there's no fucking getting around that. It's pretty... I mean, sure, it's violent and tragic and things like that, but it is pretty fun. Like, Paul Verhoeven. I think it's pretty important to talk about him for a sec. Have you seen Starship Troopers?
Oh yeah. That's another one I watched as a kid.
Yeah. So if you watch Paul Verhoeven's movies, you'll see that they're mostly violent, but they also have this like undercurrent of comedy, this kind of like really dark humor, this really kind of like morbid, kind of like way about it. It's something that really kind of like offsets the violent nature of the movie. Like this could have just been like a. Okay, look, I'm going to compare this to the remake, because it's a pretty fair comparison. This is obviously miles better than the remake, by the way. Just to kind of put that out there, guys. The remake is totally forgettable. I forgot the remake as soon as I walked out of the cinema, but I do remember it being pretty straight-faced and sort of like serious, and that just kind of like. That was a turn off. Like, you know what I mean? Like the good thing about this is that it's got this kind of like this dark humor to it, and it's just goofy, but it's funny. There was a problem for me as well. Ed 209's sort of animation didn't really work out for me. I do applaud them for doing stop motion. Like that shit's cool, but that looks dated as fuck.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. But look, Peter Weller's awesome in this. I love the villain, Clarence. Clarence is awesome. I like the fucking slimy businessmen, just fucking corporate cunts. That's just. It's so cool. It's awesome, and like when they get their comeuppance, it's really satisfying. So, Robocop, man, I dig it. I dig the hell out of it.
That's cool, man. There's a lot that went on with the production of this movie, and I didn't even know this, but the whole Robocop suits made by Rob Bottin, who did The Thing, and it's just done too many things to name here, so much stuff. But apparently there was just so much negativity, like on set. People were fucking miserable making this movie. People were not talking to each other, and by the end of it, Rob Bottin wouldn't even come on set. He would what he called like the Robo Team. He would just send the Robo Team to do it. Like he wouldn't even come on set and talk to Verhoeven. Apparently, it was just a nightmare dealing with all of this on the set. There was a lot of stuff going on with Peter Weller in the suit. Apparently he was totally apt and ready to do all of the mime movements, but unfortunately had done them without the suit on at this point. So he had spent months learning to mime really well, and they put the suit on him, which was composed of fiberglass and just kind of like an exoskeleton over almost like a wetsuit. But it was just insane to see, all of the behind the scenes stuff. Like, I think that they said that he was like Peter Weller was losing up to like 3 or 4 pounds of water weight a day being in the suit.
Jesus.
Like he was just constantly sweating. And Verhoeven warned him before the movie even started. And he's like, "You will be miserable." He's like, "You will not have fun with this." He's like, "Make no mistake. I don't want you to think that this is going to be some walk in the park. This is going to be easy." He's like, "That's not going to happen." But there's so much stuff, especially with the making of the suit, because they didn't want, of course, the first names that came up at this time were Schwarzenegger and Stallone, but they went out of their way to be like, no, we want someone who's smaller and somebody who
looks like a human.
Right, yeah, and somebody who when you see them beforehand, before they actually become RoboCop, it's actually a little bit more believable. We're not dealing with this muscle bound, this huge guy who can just beat the shit out of everybody. Whereas he's an everyman. It's just a really good cop. That's really all, and it's ultimately kind of like his centered kind of morality that helps him shed the RoboCop kind of. It's almost like you don't need. He's still a great cop even without being RoboCop. Like even as Murphy, he's great. But there was a lot of stuff, a lot of trivia for this movie. Obviously, this movie being coming out in 1987, we just passed the 30-year mark. But yeah, there was so much behind the scenes stuff. Like, it was discovered that when in full Robocop costume, Peter Weller could not fit properly into the police car as he was too bulky. That's why most shots of the film show him exiting the car or preparing to get into it. For shots where he actually needed to be in the car, he only wore the top part of the costume and sat in his underwear. However, to maintain the illusion that Robocop wears the entire suit while inside the car, most shots show his robotic foot exiting the car first. I was like, God, that's brilliant. That's such a great way to shoot around that. And from what I've heard, when he got the suit on and he was like, I just can't move, they shot most of this movie around Peter Weller's scenes, which is not much. I mean, he's the main character. They filmed a lot of stuff without him, a lot of stuff with Kurtwood Smith and Miguel Ferrara, and basically shot everything they could as he was working with a mimist to get down his moves, which he said he kind of mimicked them after birds, which is perfect. Like, the more and more I think about it, like, the head twitches, it's always the head first. It's like the head first and then the shoulders. It's like, it looks just like robotical. And I thought it was I thought it was so great. Just the attention and the level to the level to detail that went in with the suit.
See, and I was just gonna say, I think the good sort of comparison is Dredd, and it's a good thing that we've already talked about Dredd, because in that, his movements are robotical, but they are sort of slightly human a little bit. They're a bit more tactical, whereas this, he's just full on just a machine. The movements, I mean, his body is completely machine, so it makes sense for his movements to be machine as well. But yeah, the way he moves, dude, it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's honestly one of the best parts of the film that makes this so believable, even though it's something that's absolutely unbelievable. And maybe in 1987 it seemed so much farther away. I still think there's because a lot of these movies will come out. And they talk about, oh yeah, it's just it's so close to something like Ex Machina or Automata or Blade Runner, where they talk about an AI becoming sentient. But there's only a handful of movies I think that really cover the fusion of man and machine, coexisting together. And especially now, I think, and this is just said so many times, it's just so much more prevalent now than it was today. And I feel like that's just kind of an easy thing to say about a movie or something. Oh, it's just so much more relevant. It's so much prevalent now. But I mean, this kind of really is with we're generating 3D appendages for people. I watched multiple videos of kids who have lost limbs or had some kind of disease or were in horrible accidents, and they give them these hands they full-fledged control, and they can close the hands and pick things up, and it's incredible, because that's the kind of thing going into the future that, it seems like a lot of people have a fear of AI and a fear of things being in control. But I think if you could get people on the level where you have man and machine kind of working together, almost like Upgrade. That's what I said. I mean, you saw Upgrade, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
I mean, how similar would you say Upgrade is to RoboCop? Doesn't it feel very similar? The movements of the body, all that stuff feels kind of similar, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely 100%. And I think Upgrade is unique in that way because the camera sort of mimics the movements as well. I mean, obviously, Verhoeven probably didn't have the technology to do it back then, but yeah, I totally agree, man. The movements are very similar.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I could sit here all day and just go over trivia stuff, but I don't I know better, and I know if I start going down this rabbit hole now, I will never fucking get out of it. But yeah, unless there's anything else you want to say, do you just want to go ahead and jump right in?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly ask you, have you seen the sequels for this?
Yeah. I have seen 2 and 3 at some point. Obviously they're not nearly as good as the first one. But the second one actually has a lot of my favorite people in it. It's got Tom Noonan, who is Frankenstein in the Monster Squad. He was in Manhunter.
Dude,
he's been in X-Files. He's great.
It's directed by Irvin Kershner, who directed Empire Strikes Back.
Oh shit! I did not know that.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. But yeah, let me get your thoughts on the remake real quick.
No, okay. In all fairness, like I said, the whole debate about technology and drones and AI and stuff like that, that debate is somewhat still relevant, especially when they start ringing in. That's the whole reason why Robocop is superior over Ed 209, because it's like he's got the heart, he's got instinct, and they do kind of touch on that at the same time in the Robocop remake, but you removed everything that made RoboCop. You removed the violence, you removed the satire, and I don't feel as much for this character because you've given me like the kind of cleaned up version of RoboCop. I want the nitty gritty. When we see him get violently assaulted with, and it's just so over the top. 4 shotguns being emptied into you completely. I mean, there wouldn't even be a leg left standing. Dude.
Up.
And as a kid, that was horrifying to me as a kid. But I was just like, oh my god, like that's fucking insane. But still, like the RoboCop remake kind of ends up taking all of that away, and it's a movie without any teeth. When it's a remake of a movie that had fucking fangs, and I don't understand taking all of I do, because they wanted to make a PG-13 RoboCop and cash in when people are making remakes, because we're real hard up for nostalgia from the 80s. But there are parts of the new RoboCop that I do like. I wish that they could have had Paul Verhoeven, Peter Weller, Kurtwood Smith, everybody with that kind of technology and that kind of budget making this now, with the same people. I couldn't even imagine what that movie would look like. Because and I don't even know if that would be good, because you lose the magic of the practical effects. You know it. Everybody else knows it. I fucking love practical effects when it comes down to shit. I'm always a fan over that over digital. But that's
I wasn't
not even
too sure.
Oh yeah.
Tell me again.
I like, and it's also. Going beyond that, it's a movie that I don't feel his loss, because in this, in the remake, he still has the son, he still has the wife, he's trying to gain them back. In RoboCop, that's not an option. The original RoboCop, that's not an option at all. And
exactly.
I don't want to jump the gun too fast, but there's a really, really great line where, because basically they wipe his memory, but, the heart wants what the heart wants. He knows that he's missing something, and he even says, I can feel them, but I don't remember them. And it's like, oh my God, man, like that breaks my heart thinking about, like, there's something that you've lost, but you don't even remember it anymore. Like, you're not yourself enough to remember it. And it's like, God, that is fucking tragic. And then you watch the new one, which by all standards should have fucking, Gary Oldman, Samuel Jackson, Jackie Earle Haley from fucking the Nightmare on Elm Street remake and Watchmen. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck happened with this movie? Because I was hesitant, because I'm like, dude, they're going to get some fucking people I've never heard of before, which Joel Kinnaman, I never really, I'd never heard of him before, but nobody...
He's decent.
Yeah. He's in Suicide Squad, right?
Things. Yeah, he's in Suicide Squad, but you don't need someone who's fully charismatic to play a RoboCop.
No, and that's kind of the same thing, I guess, with oh God, I almost called him Alex Murphy, Peter Weller, because Peter Weller was not a huge name. I think Buckaroo Banzai come out, maybe Naked Lunch, which is another one of his more popular movies, but when I'm looking at the remake and I'm seeing three actors who I trust, and Gary Oldman, you see Gary Oldman attached to something, I'm automatically interested.
Greatest of all time. He's fucking amazing.
Yeah, he's definitely top 10 of the best actors of all time, and I still don't think Gary Oldman's had his day in the sun yet, but he'll get there. I think he'll have the reconnaissance kind of thing. I think everyone will start realizing, fuck, man, Gary Oldman isn't
he just
fucking
won an
everything.
Oscar.
The reason. Oh, did he? Okay, good. See, I'm fucking right.
Darkest Hour. Yeah.
But. That's, dude, because I think people forget Gary Oldman's in stuff because he's so many different people. It's fucking nuts, man. Like, yeah, like everybody's always, Johnny Depp, such a chameleon, such a chameleon. It's like, dude, Gary Oldman was Johnny Depp way before. Dude. Natural Born Killers,
for sure.
Air Force One, like, oh my God. So I don't love the remake.
Stansfield from Leon the Professional, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's a Dracula. There's just so many
Yep.
that you can go on and on and on.
Yep.
But I think the remake is, obviously it's not as good as this. I just think that they try to play on social commentary, where we're talking about drones and we're talking about warfare and stuff like that. Some of the first opening scenes of the remake are the Ed 209s just clearing out villages and stuff. But I think they kind of lost something along the way where this was not supposed to be a dark, really introspective, look in the mirror kind of take at what we as a society are doing with technology. The original one is more of a satire about I think the corporate kind of mentality in America with capitalism, with the militaristic kind of the ideals that we have here, that things can just be solved with a gun. It's kind of like what Tony Stark said. He's like, build the gun that you need to use once. That's how Dad did it. That's how we were going to do it. And that's so true about America. With just we're not going to keep building weapons that are just awesome. We're just going to build the one we need one time. And that's kind of in essence, really what Robocop is. We're just going to build one of these, and that's all we need. And it's crazy to see exactly how where the remake fails towards the original. I think it's just trying to get too introspective about where we are with AI and with drones and how we feel about inanimate objects killing animate objects and where we kind of draw the line with that. And I think it does raise good points, but ultimately doesn't really feel the need to. It pushes it real hard at the beginning and just, I feel like, kind of backs off of it. And they never really fully explore those ideas. Whereas with this, the remake, it's always in your face. The news reporters, the ads, all of it. It's just like they build such a great world around, just with advertisements and just with the way that, I'd buy that for $1. They're like, you see what society has really become. And they did such a great job of world building and just didn't really feel that in the Robocop remake. But that's my thoughts on it. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it back in 2014, I want to say, when it came out. I didn't really, I dug it at the time when I watched it, but then, like I said, I walked out and I just immediately kind of forgot it. It was so forgettable.
Yeah.
And you obviously don't want that in a movie. You're totally right. You hit the nail on the head so well. It feels like it just felt so placid and so tame. I don't know. I think that's you pretty much said all that needs to be said. To be honest, it's not really. I just thought it would be interesting to talk about because it is, I guess, the elephant in the room. It's like, why are we covering the old one and not the new one? But yeah, that's the reason, guys. Quality
for
over,
a good goddamn reason.
Yeah, for a good reason. But man, if you want, you want to kick it off? Well, up to you.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw this out there. This episode's for my brothers Austin and Adam. We watched this growing up so much. I can't tell you how many times my brother Austin will look at me because we work together, and he just goes, "Can you fly, Bobby?" And dude, I can't tell you how many times at work we'll turn around and quote this movie or laugh like, the character Leon laughs, that real high-pitched laugh that's fucking hysterical. But this episode's for those guys. I fucking loved watching this with them growing up. But yeah, without anything else, I guess we should just jump right in. I'm guessing that this is set during the present day. It never says that it's in the near future or in any kind of future or this or that, so I'm assuming it's just still 1987. But right off the bat, we get this amazing world building with the two news anchors who are just always reporting the most horrible shit in the world with these dumb fucking smiles on their face. Like,
I know.
Well, I'm rich and I'm white and I'm miles away from wherever this is happening. And there's something about them that is so unsettling, talking about, oh yeah, the Pope died and there was a Star Wars orbital peace platform that blew up and killed all these people, and then immediately after that, boom, we get the advertisements for, oh hey, yeah, we'll get you a new, Yamaha Series 5000 kidney, or we'll get you a new heart, or we'll get you this, and there's a fucking 1-800 number on it. Like, the amount of, like I said, the kind of the amount of capitalism behind it, It's kind of like in that
Yeah, totally.
we can save your life for a fee. You know, it's kind of like that Rick and Morty episode where I can answer that for money. You know, it's like there's
have you
so much
seen
of that.
have you seen Crank?
I have not, with Jason Statham.
Yeah, they're not good movies, but the heart actually reminded me of the second one, because in the second one he gets an artificial heart, and literally that's what it looks like.
Oh shit, that's crazy. I did not know that. I've always wanted to check him out, but I mean I wasn't really in any rush. But yeah, this is just we're getting awesome world building right off the bat. We got some exposition about how OCP is in a bid to fund and run the Detroit Police Department. We've also got some news about a fellow officer that Murphy will come to replace who's been murdered. I think he's like the 20th person that Clarence Boddicker has killed. 20 police officer. This is not. I mean, he's basically Detroit is basically whittled down and become a war zone, which was so fucked up because they filmed, I think, almost none of this in Detroit. They filmed the kind of sketchier scenes with like shitty neighborhoods and stuff. But apparently, I think they filmed most of this in Texas.
Yeah.
And they said it was awful for Peter Weller. You know, it's 120 degrees inside, and he's in this suit, and they just have people with fans on him constantly. And the guy, I mean, but Nancy Allen said she's like, I've never met a more determined or just kind of balanced person in my life who would stick to that. And they were like, yeah, he would kind of complain sometimes, but you know, not the level of what you would expect people to complain about just going into the makeup. You know, people complain about just getting latex makeup applied, and this guy had a full body suit. It took him 11 hours to get into the first time. And it's like, dude, but she said he was just a total fucking professional about it. He was so diligent. And hats off to Peter Weller in this. I honestly hope that, I think in terms of sci-fi, this is finally kind of getting the place, you know, where it needs to be. People are getting like, dude, Robocop was way ahead of its time. But yeah, just this great world building right off the bat. I think it's Fredrickson is the officer that's been murdered, and just that officer, that fucking that stupid ass news reporter. Good luck, Frank. You know, it's like, dude, the guy was shot like 20 fucking times, man. Like, what the fuck?
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, but it's that fucking mentality of like, oh, I'm in here in this newsroom, all safe and sound, and you know, I'm totally disconnected from what's happening down there. So. Good luck, Frank.
Right. He might as well have just been so and so changed their profile picture to show support and prayer for blah blah blah.
Oh God.
Oh,
painful.
God.
It's painful.
But yeah, we get our first introduction to Murphy. You know, he's being transferred. You know, why are you being transferred? I don't really know. Seems like OCP's shaking up everybody. You know, and he warns him, hey, you know, you come from a nice...
He looks so young.
Yeah. Oh, my God. He looks like 22, 23. Like, he looks so fucking young to me.
I'm used to seeing Peter Weller kind of old. Because, I mean... You know, I haven't seen a lot of his older shit, but I mean, he was in Star Trek Into Darkness. He's old as shit in that. He was in Sons of Anarchy for a while. I've seen some other stuff, but yeah, I've never seen him this young before, dude. Like, he was a fucking, you know, I bet you that guy slayed some ass.
Oh, dude, yeah. But I mean, hey, I'm fucking Robocop. I'm Buckaroo Banzai. Like,
yeah.
And he's also one of my favorite comic book animated adaptations. He's Bruce Wayne in The Dark Knight Returns. And I knew that.
Oh yeah, how could I forget?
I fucking knew that voice as soon as I heard it. I was like, my childhood is just tingling. Like, who the fuck is that?
He's got a legendary voice, dude.
Yeah, he's great. Apparently just kind of stopped acting and got a degree in art. Just kind of chilled out and just been focusing on art and went back to school. Seems like a nice guy. Seems like a nice, well-rounded guy. But yeah, basically Murphy's being transferred, I think from Metro South. I can't remember exactly where he's being transferred from, but basically where he was before is probably, you know, a nice gated community compared to where he's going to now. These guys are in the thick of it. We're hearing, you know, the other cops around him talk about strike. obviously the whole police department is just it's just fed up with this. And I love, we do not go on strike. We are police officers, not plumbers. And it's like, but it does raise a good point. Like at one point, it's just like, dude, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get murdered. Like there's no question about it. Like it's not a point of, there's not I might come back alive. Like, dude, we've lost like 6 guys in the last week. And you understand the police officer's frustration and stuff, because what can you do? You're abiding by the law, and the people who you're fighting against are probably bribing police officers, are probably in the system, which we totally see with Dick and Clarence Boddicker. They're obviously working right there hand in hand. There's a fucking reason why Clarence Boddicker hasn't been arrested. It's not like this guy is just impenetrable. He's in the pocket of some powerful people. But yeah, it should be pretty ominous, like right away as soon as you walk in. It's almost like lambs to the slaughter. Murphy comes in, Fredrickson gets slid out. It's like boom, like line them up. Next. It's like, who's next, man? And the feeling in that room is just so palpable. Of all of them just being like, oh my, yeah, like we understand we're not supposed to talk about strike and blah blah, but what are we supposed to do? We can't keep doing this forever. They're going to wipe us out eventually. But after we get our,
I just want to touch on just the captain walking in and just like silently removing Fredrickson's name from the locker. Like it's so affecting. Then Fredrickson died. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Like, you're just seeing it. Nobody has to say anything. We know exactly. He could have walked in there, not said a word, stared at everybody, slid it out, and walked out, and everybody would have been like, "Fuck, man." But yeah, after that, we're introduced to Nancy Allen. She's great. She was in the original Carrie way back in the day, which is that's just great. If you've never seen it, get the fuck off here and go see Carrie. But I was kind of surprised because, she normally, up until this point, from what I've read, she was very much like a bitchy, friend of the main character, and as soon as she showed up, she had these infamous kind of strawberry blonde long hair, and Paul Verhoeven's like, cut your hair. Like, just cut it. like she's like, what the fuck? But yeah, she's going to be Murphy's new partner, and Lewis. And we get some great banter kind of between them right away.
Do you know who she looks like? Does she looks like Maggie Gyllenhaal here in this movie? Like, I was like, is that
I can kind of see it.
Maggie Gyllenhaal?
I can see it.
Yeah, I don't know. Just me fucking wigging out a little bit.
But yeah, we get kind of some great banter between them, seeing them the beginning of their relationship, and it's just nuts because this guy's going to be dead in like, I don't know, before lunch, it's
5 minutes.
Yeah, and literally you just got set up with a partner, and then 4 hours later they're fucking dead. It's like, oh my god, like the shit that these people are having to put up with. Like, what the fuck?
I still blame his murder on her. By the way, we'll get to that.
Okay. Hold your horses there.
I know.
No, but yeah, then we cut over to the OCP offices, where we've got. I love this guy Kenny, who's just so innocent, just most bushy eyed, oh hey, what's going on, guys, blah blah blah, and it's like, dude, you're gonna be dead faster than Murphy soon.
I know.
But yeah, we've got Bob Morton, Johnson, and Kenny. Kenny's the one soon to be deceased. Miguel Ferrer is playing, of course, Bob Morton. But he's just kind of like an up-and-coming CEO. All of these people are either A, Patrick Bateman's, or B, they purge. Or they purge. They all purge. Like, there's nothing about these guys. Dude, there's no fucking way that these guys don't do that shit.
Dude, I reckon if you went to shake one of these guys' hands, the slime on their hands and bodies would just like fucking, it'll just, you wouldn't even be able to make contact. These people are so fucking slimy. Like, seriously, it just jumps off the screen.
Oh yeah, thanks, I got some beard wax now, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Just put it in my hair.
we see that Bob Morton, Johnson, Kenny, they're all kind of up and coming, I guess CEOs, vice presidents, whatever. I think just vice presidents, up and coming in the company. They're talking about, old man Jones, or talking about Jones and the old man. Oh, you better watch out. Jones will make fish food out of you. There's some kind. We kind of get the first inklings that Robert has this idea for the Robocop project. Fuck them. It's a better plan. Blah blah blah. But for whatever reason, they're going with Dick's Ed 209 program. Maybe they're releasing the Ed 209 series early. No, get out of here. They never do anything early. He's just showing off. What's going to be happening. But this first shot is fucking great of them walking in when they walk off the elevator. From the time, they walk into the room, fuck Jones, blah, blah, blah. You hear Johnson go, easy, Robert, and as soon as it turns, there's Dick and the old man, and it's the same shot. It never breaks frame. We just kind of spin and walk. Oh, it's so great. Like, I love continuous shots. I'm such a fan of those.
Oh, me too. Yeah, me too.
But the old man's asking about how's everything going with the police. Just the usual bitching. We'll get everything straightened out. Blah, blah, blah. What do you think about the man who runs this company, the old man? Do you think he is in with these kind of guys that much?
I think he's.
Really think that
to be honest, I think he's the least
not the most innocent person in this. But do you think he has good intentions and he's just kind of?
It's very obvious that everyone in this room, is like 1 second away from sucking this guy's dick.
Yeah, like just constant clapping. Everything he says, they're clapping.
The clapping is what gets me in this scene, especially the mid shot of what's his name? Who's the guy that creates Robocop again?
Robert Morton.
Yeah, Morton. Like that, just that like fucking continuous 10-second shot of him just like thrusting his hands together, just clapping. Like, it's just fucking like you can see the love and lust in his eyes for this man.
Yeah, and he like nobody else is clapping. He has to like elbow Johnson. He's like, clap, yeah, everybody clap.
He's like, get in on this. Come on, if you clap, maybe I'll be made CEO. Like that's what we're working with here. Like,
we're all parasites here.
Yeah, that's the level of cocksuckery that's happening over here.
Right. But basically, the old man's, I think it's time that we gave something back. And everybody, oh yeah. And I love, as Dick Jones gets up to speak, he's talking about how they've privatized a lot of the military, things that were not normally considered commercial-based kind of things, space, the Marines, privatizing the police force. I love the shot as Robert Morton is just ignoring him, and the old man just looks at him and has that eyebrow raised and raises his head, and Morton turns around. He's like, fuck, god damn it. Like, he's like, I have to watch him. Yeah. I think that's totally great, because he wants nothing to do with this. And I love Miguel Ferrer. I think he was in The Stand, Blank Check. It's so much stuff that I grew up watching. And of course, this from RoboCop. I think this is kind of the thing he's known most for. Yeah, known most for. I was trying to say moan nosed for, but
I heard it,
dude.
You're not getting that shit past me, man.
No, I can't tell you how many times I have to stop, and I'm like, it's not Belly Jean, it's Jelly Beans. God damn it. But yeah, this is awesome. This is the legendary introduction to Ed 209. This thing.
I think when you talk iconic scenes, this is way up there, right? Like.
Oh yeah, the sound when just as they open the doors, and apparently a lot of this is like stop motion, and they do have some scenes where they actually film something totally separate with a model and kind of superimpose the image on it. They did a lot of fuckery for this, and some of it doesn't stand the test of time. I think some of it definitely does, because the stuff that stands the test of time is the stuff that's practical. Like the scene later on with Ed 209 falling down the stairs, that's a miniature on a miniature set that they built, and they just flipped it down. The thing was about 6 or 8 inches tall, and they just flipped it down a flight of steps, and they said it looked great. And I was like, holy shit, that's great. But this whole Ed 209 look was based off of kind of like the gunners on the side of helicopters sitting in the pods. They have the gun shooting down, and based off of some Japanese robot anime comics that were coming out at the time.
I got a question for you, Colin.
Yeah, what's up?
Why does Ed 209 roar like an animal?
Is this like an actual question, or are you just like, what the fuck?
I was literally just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like it's one of the.
He roars like a lion. Like I'm just like, oh, is that intimidating? I guess it's supposed to be intimidating.
Yeah, the whole grrr thing as it like settles down. Everybody.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But the prop looks amazing.
It looks great. Yeah.
God, it looks so good. If they could only get that fucking thing to move, like, oh my god, it looks so good.
Also, Ed 209, like, I kind of, you know, it stands out to me. What level of if you deploy one of these things in the city, what's the cutoff?
What's the collateral damage, dude?
No, that, and like, what's the cutoff crime that gets you shot? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it everything below sexual assault that gets you off? Because like, later he parks his car and it literally goes to shoot him. You have 20 seconds to comply. You've parked in a fucking private parking spot. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah, right. I hate to see someone like spitting gum out and it just blows their fucking head off.
But like, you know what? That's the 80s. Like that I love. That's shit like that. I fucking love it. It just adds to it so much. Like it's goofy as hell, but it's just fucking. It's great.
Oh yeah, I'd love to hear him like, "You have been caught jaywalking," and just fucking annihilating.
Literally, you haven't paid your alimony. Fucking nuke from orbit. It calls in a fucking nuke strike.
Dude, and that's the thing, like, what? Because this thing, I mean, it has rockets on the side of it. The fucking, I mean, like quad barrel machine guns. You know, you got 2 on each arm. You've got 4 barrels coming at you. Like, what the fuck? And not to mention, if this thing could, I mean, if it's as a kid, I was like, what if the thing stepped on you? I mean, good God, man. Like, I mean, the guns and everything aside, if that thing just got one leg up and crushed you, like, oh my God, it's a fucking, to me, it's always looked like a giant microphone. I don't know why. It looks like a big ass microphone with guns and legs. But I love the look of the kind of inverted legs. You know, they just backwards knees almost, the way that it walks. I love the look of it. But poor fucking Kenny, man. It's Mr. Kenny, yes sir.
Oh my God. He's so keen. He's so excited. Like, he's just like, yep. But dude, he fucking gives him a Desert Eagle.
Yeah.
Like,
why the fuck do you have that
handy? He just had it handy. The fucking 50 caliber bullet. Like, I'm just like, why do you have a 50 cal?
Yeah,
Desert Eagle.
Like, I get it. It's fucking Detroit, but there's no way. Like, you guys have some kind of like Omega level security shutdown if anybody gets past the 40th floor. Like,
yeah, right.
There's no fucking way.
Like, why does Ed 209 need to be commanded to stop? Because like Kenny points the gun at what's his name first, like, but Ed 209 doesn't do anything. Like, is he shut down at that point, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know. You think pointing a gun at one of the CEOs of the top company that built you would have garnered some kind of reaction, but yeah, it's fucking nuts. And yeah, Kenny gets fucking annihilated. Dude,
the ultra violence here is out fucking standing. Like, they must have like just kind of like built some kind of doll, or I don't know. Like the squibs, the blood squibs are just so crazy. It's like, let's fucking load this guy up with blood squibs and just see what happens.
The actor, and this is a great documentary. If any of you guys have the chance to watch this, there's 2 fucking great documentaries about this movie. One is called Flesh and Steel. It's free on YouTube. It's just 30 minutes long. You know, it's probably some special features off the 10th or 20th anniversary of Robocop. But there's a great extensive one called RoboDoc, which is from the same guys who made You're So Cool, Brewster, which is a coverage of Fright Night and Fright Night 2. These guys do expansive, I mean, detailed documentaries about the movies that they love, and a lot of them coming out from, you know, around this time of the mid 80s to late 80s and early 80s. But the actor who plays Kenny, he basically said that he asked him, he's like, has anybody ever been loaded up with this many squibs ever? And at that time, no, nobody ever had. He, like, it was really him on the table spazzing out with the squibs going off. I think they said it was something close to like 60 squibs on him.
Holy shit.
I know. I was like, what the fuck, man? But yeah, I thought that was nuts. The fact that, you know, again, at this time, that was the highest amount of squibs that had ever been put on anything. And of course, right out the gate, this movie was given like, you know, an X rating. They said it would never be put out in theaters. They had to cut a lot of stuff down. I've never watched like an unrated version, but I've seen the unrated scenes from it, and it is, I mean, a lot more violent, even more violent than the theatrical cut, which is saying something.
Oh, I've got the unrated version. I've been watching it on the unrated.
Fuck, man,
it's fucking brutal.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
Like the stuff that they cut is just enough to get them an R. But I mean, it was. I mean, for the little bit that they cut, it is pretty damn violent.
Yeah, like seriously, Kenny looks like a pudding. Like at the end of it.
For sure, dude. He literally just looks like some figgy pudding fucking laid out on the goddamn table. But
yeah.
But yeah, I love
the old man's reaction. Like it's not even, there's like no kind of like there's regret, but there's like no sorrow for Kenny. It's just like, oh, you fuck.
Yeah, he has regret over the incompetence and the mistake and the error.
Right. Exactly.
But not the, you know, oh wow, yeah, we need to send his family, you know, like $2 million now so they don't fucking sue us.
Yeah. It reminds me of okay, it's a terrible fucking movie, but Transformers. There's one sequence where someone jumps out of he gets thrown out of a window, and John Malkovich is in it, unfortunately, and he's like, just straight away, he's like, get legal. He just like get the legal department.
I absolutely love the reaction as soon as he's done getting brutally murdered. Could someone call an ambulance?
Yeah, it's great. It's like, oh, what is an ambulance gonna do?
Yeah. Oh, hey, can someone call sanitation and maintenance to mop this shit up? Like, it's fucking nuts. Can someone call the
fucking morgue? Like right now? Like, Jesus.
It's crazy because Paul Verhoeven said he thought that was the funniest line of the movie. He thought it was so fucking hysterical. Can we get an ambulance in here?
That's great.
But yeah, awesome. I love Dick Jones talking to the old man. Dick, I'm very disappointed. It's just a glitch, a temporary setback. You call this a glitch? I love their whole exchange of dialogue, you know, and you know, the interest rates on the loans alone will, you know, cost us up to $50 million, and that's where Morton finds his way to obviously just snake right up through the cracks of the foundation that's going on. And hey, you know, as a contingency, you know, have you ever heard of the plan Robocop that I designed to as a contingency to stuff just like this? You know, sees an opportunity, goes for it.
Man's an opportunist.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it ends up kind of being the thing that gets him fucking. I mean, goddamn, the way he dies is pretty fucking terrible. It's like torture death. But I mean, he just doesn't heed the warnings. They're like, man, don't fuck with don't fuck with Dick, man. Like that, don't fuck with him. Like he'll make sushi out of you, you know. And I think that whole exchange between them is great, and the look on Dick Jones's face as they walk off is fucking brilliant. You know, it's just great, ominous and foreshadowing of what's going to happen. You can tell this is not over between Morton and Dick Jones, but yeah, we get a cut in on Murphy and oh god, I can't keep calling her Nancy Allen. Murphy and Lewis. You know, he's kind of showing off the gun moves that he's got. Oh yeah, it's from a show my son likes called TJ Laser, and he's like, okay, I got a kick out of it too. You know, he's a humble guy. You know, he can admit when he likes something. You know, you get a good nice guy vibe and a kind of guy next door kind of vibe from him. Which is great, you know, and they get to call in, they drop their coffees, they go and take off, and this whole scene with them in the money truck, you know, you burnt the fucking money. I love Kurtwood Smith in this movie. I honestly don't want to say I like him more than RoboCop, but dude, it's fucking close, man. Like
he's great.
He's so fucking good, man. And not a guy who plays villains a shit ton, you know, just really not. And I really wish that he would. He comes across as so fucking menacing, and terrifying, but not just I'm just some low level thug who likes to kill people for fun. He's like, no, I'm a blue collar businessman. Like this
right. Yeah, he's just raw. Like it feels like he's just raw. Like he's not using his physical strength. He's just like, I'm a fucking businessman, but I'm a criminal at the same time. Like, I will fuck you up.
Yeah, that's what they said about the glasses. They said they added the glasses kind of at the end of it, because they were like, he needs to appear kind of intelligent, and that's why none of the other guys, they have the berets, they have the all black and the earrings, and he's the only one that kind of looks somewhat normal, who could put on a suit and walk right into a business and nobody would think anything of it. But yeah, there's this whole scene. They've robbed a bank, burnt the money. Bobby, who I guess is in charge of explosives, fucked up. And that's when we get Murphy and Lewis kind of on their tail. And I love we'll never outrun them in this tank. We'll slow down, and, just their plan just to fucking, okay, well, we can't escape it. Well, we're just going to fucking shoot through it. Like, okay, of course, you're an American criminal. That's going to be your mindset.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but just this whole shootout between them, Bobby gets shot, and there comes that infamous, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's so 80s, dude. Like when they kick open the back doors of the truck, of the van, and then they just start firing their shotguns. They are firing for like a good 2 to 3 seconds. Then,
before they realize, nothing's in front of me. It's so fucking dumb, man. Like,
it's so 80s, dude. I love it.
Yeah, it's like the force of one of those shotgun slugs might kill two people standing right next to each other, and they just three or four slugs each. Like, oh my god.
And then you got Murphy leaning out of the car with the two guns. This reminds me of Hot Fuzz and fucking Nick Frost's character. He's like, proper action and shit.
Dude, have you ever once fired your gun while jumping through the air? No. That scene's so great. But yeah, we get a little bit of this police chase, them kind of playing tag with each other until, they fucking pick, "Can you fly, Bobby?" Like, oh my god.
It's cool. His voice is cool.
Dude, yeah. Clarence, no! Dude, the whole thing is fucking... another thing that just wrenched my guts as a kid. I was like, oh, God, that's fucking terrifying to me, man. Like, just as somebody is pleading for you to stop doing something, you fucking throw them out of a car into a windshield. I was like, God damn. But yeah, our antagonists, drive off, and we get these shots of Murphy and Lewis kind of pulling up to the scene. Backup is unavailable, blah blah blah. Which is insane. Not backup is en route. None of the stuff. It's just not there. There's no backup to be had. They're so short staffed right now. They just literally just lost someone this morning. It's like, God damn. And what I love is like, oh yeah, we've tracked him down to the old mill. It's like the old mill. Like there's one in all of Detroit. Yeah, there's fucking one of them. But yeah, I gotta say, let's put you and I in the situation. You're a cop. I'm a cop. There's four of them with definitely pistols, definitely shotguns, probably automatic weapons, and we both have two. Probably it looks like 9mm or 45s. Fuck that. Fuck dude. That and a basket full of eggs, dude. Fuck dude. That.
Remember when I said, I think she's the reason that she got him killed. Hey, this is the fucking moment. He's like, your call, and she's like, let's do it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You're going to go in with a semi-automatic handgun while you just seeing these guys like lay waste to you, like with fucking shotguns. I can't. This is suicide right here. What you're doing right here is fucking suicide. Like, this is, but it's 80s as shit. Like, can we just talk about the fact that this movie is 80s as shit? Like, you literally got a cocaine factory later. If you don't have a cocaine factory in your movie, then you're not in the 80s.
Right, yeah. I just pictured, like, at one point when all of the guys are shooting down at Robocop to see, like, Al Pacino and his fucking character. Okay, come on, man.
Okay.
I just totally expected to see that. And yeah, like, I never really thought about that before, just, oh, yeah, it's your call. Yep, let's do it. It's like, but I'm amazed Murphy's not. Hey, can we talk about this for a second? Like,
you want to just chill?
Yeah. Hey, you just want to hang out in 5-10 minutes. I don't think these guys are leaving. Like, I'm pretty sure we can just hang out for a minute. But, God, we have time to go back to the station and get bigger guns, God damn it. Like, let's be proactive. But yeah, just this. Even if I had two each of their guns, I would not fucking go in there. There's no way.
No fucking way.
No, but...
even if I had two more people, just to even the odds with those shit guns...
fuck that. Yeah. Especially in close quarters, that shotgun's going to fuck that pistol up. but yeah, we get Murphy and Lewis just kind of moving through the mill. I love the way that these shots look, just how dank and desolate everything looks.
Yeah.
Really seeing what has happened to like the bad side of what they call Old Detroit. And in a lot of this, I guess we should say at the top of this as well, the old man's plans are to demolish Old Detroit and build a new Delta City. Which is, just basically OCP is looking to take over everything, I guess. They want to just control this entire city. Which I guess that's a smart move. What's good for Detroit, I guess is good for OCP anyways. But yeah, I love this. I love these scenes of them going in and kind of hunting around. And I hate Nancy Allen's character for the whole gum pop thing. Like, why? Like, don't even like. What's way scarier than hearing a gumball pop? The hammer on a gun getting cocked down. Like,
I think it's an '80s thing. I think I'm just gonna fucking leave it at that.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, Leon's up there. He's taking a piss. She ends up sneaking a peek, and it cost her. He smacks the fuck out of her and sends her flying down.
She wanted to get a peek of that old python.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, just couldn't keep your eyes off the prize, could you?
Nope.
Nope.
Dude, this is a woman in the '80s in film. Like, come on.
Right, yeah, it's like, oh, cool, way to stereotype, guys, thanks.
Yeah.
But I love Leon's laugh after he smacks her off, that ha. Oh my god, I wish I could laugh as loud as him, but my mic would explode, like there's no fucking way. My mic would just die.
I was literally watching the mic levels as I was doing that, so I was like trying to keep it under the red.
But yeah, then we get cut to Murphy. Murphy's coming up on these guys, just hanging out, watching some TV. They don't ever really name the character that he shoots, the guy with the hat, but the one who, with the black leather jacket, that's Emil. I've always thought that this guy looked like fucking Seth Rogen, like a skinny Seth Rogen. Like, the more I looked at him, I was like, God, you look like fucking Seth Rogen to me. But yeah, that's Paul McCrane. Paul McCrane's also he's Leonard Betts in the X-Files. He was on ER. Guy's a great actor. He's been in a lot of stuff. Been very busy actor. But I love Emil in this movie. He's one of the best villains as well. But Murphy runs up, drop it. Guy gets a shotgun. Murphy wastes him, shoots him through the fucking TV as well. I thought that was cool. The TV explodes behind him. And Murphy delivers that fucking great line that Emil's never going to forget. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. And I was like, that's iconic. So fucking
iconic as shit,
dude. Yeah. And basically, Emil gives up. Murphy's got the drop on him. But fucking not for long though. You should know better than there's no fucking way. Like there's no way I would have tried taking on the other, because now add the random dude who was there with the hat on. You got 5 fucking people in her now. Like, oh my god, you've only killed one of them. One's in custody, so you got 3 more, and you have a partner down, which he doesn't know. But still, it's like, oh man. You are fucking up shit's creek without a paddle, son. Like, there's no fucking way you're ever gonna get out of this shit. But I love as Murphy's all kind of calm and confident and thinking he's got the job. They just descend on him. Why don't you let us take it from here, Emil? And I love Emil's move, the spin, and he knocks the gun back and totally disarms him. And you feel like, oh man, like this feels like a prison shower scene that's about to go down. Like this I don't know, man, about this. Like
I never knew what came of Andy Dufresne that day.
I can tell you one thing: the sisters never bothered Andy again, and Boggs never walked again.
Oh boy.
No, yeah, we'll do that one day, but I'm saving that for a while. I fucking love that movie. But yeah, we get basically they get the drop on Murphy. No fucking surprise, really. One of these guys who I know that the actor's name is Ray Wise. He plays Leon. And actually, I said that Leon is not the one with the crazy laugh. That is Joe P. Cox is his character's name, which is highly specific. But yeah, I love the guy who Ray Wise. He's the white guy with like darker hair and the one earring. He's been in a lot of stuff, Jeepers Creepers and Powder, and a lot of really good movies. He was in a great show called Reaper that was only on for a couple of seasons, but a really good show. My buddy Chris got me onto. But basically, yeah, they're gonna. I even now as I watch this, like the ominous feeling of just like, oh god,
it's
man,
such a good build up to it. Like even though you don't really know what's gonna happen, but you know that he's not in for a good time. But like just the way it's kind of set up, and Kurtwood Smith's got him kind of like pinned down, and he's like doing that.
Oh god, dude, it's fucking crazy, brutal. Man. Like the whole, and then the dialogue exchange between them. I love as he's talking. He's like, "Wow, you must be a great cop, some kind of super cop. Think you can come in here all on your own?" Like his dialogue is fucking great. It gets him on the ground. You must think I'm not a really nice guy, do you? And buddy, I think you're slime. I love because he 80s knows
as shit.
Yeah, then fuck it, dude. You're not getting out of this alive. Talk some shit. Like fuck him, man. There's no saving face at this point. Like, but yeah, the whole infamous like this is a really funny story. When I was a kid, my brother Austin and I are playing this in our backyard. We're playing Robocop. We think it's so fucking awesome. My brother comes up and kind of gives me like, we were roughhousing, we were kids, and kind of gives me like a little kick, and I fall backwards and sit right on a fucking bee.
Oh my god!
And he puts the foot on my arm as I'm trying to get up. Nah. I'm like, dude, seriously, get off me! Like my ass hurts. Like my ass hurts. My fucking ass hurts, dude. Get off me. Right. But just fucking brutal blowing off Murphy's arm like that. And just seeing his arm just disappear, just get erased, like somebody
it's such a cool shot.
Oh man, the same history teacher that I talked about in yesterday's episode of Tropic Thunder, he was like, "Man, that's really what it looks like when it just looks like somebody just erases somebody." I was like, "Holy shit!" And he was a Vietnam vet, and I was like, "I trust your opinion." Like, fuck, man, and that's what it seems like with Murphy's arm. It just fucking disappears like into nothing. But they're just all just laughing hysterically. As this guy, he gets up and he's obviously in shock. Hey man, turn around, and they just unload. Like, I mean, it's just so over the top. There's no way I've watched this movie with friends of mine before. It was like, dude, there's no way he would be alive. I'm like, well, fucking of course, dude. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's no goddamn way this guy's gonna be alive.
There's also something else I'd like to point out, just for a matter of convenience. I mean, none of them hit his face.
Oh yeah, right. Like, hey, yeah. I just leave something from my mother. Leave something from my mother.
Leave, yeah. No. You know what? We know that fucking Clarence is about to shoot him in the face. Like, so let's just all shoot him in the chest, get him down, and old fucking Clarence over here can finish him off. Like, seriously?
Yeah. We'll shoot him in all of his arms and legs. And what's crazy, they blow the forearm off, and then blow the entire arm off. Yeah. And I'm actually I'm watching the unrated version online right now. I've got the theatrical one on DVD.
Right.
But dude, and of course they just unload on him. The Kevlar helps. He would have definitely been fucking dead right away. But yeah, they just unload on this fucking guy, and even they're amazed. Hey Clarence, he's still alive. Like, what the fuck? And just the shot. This is actually, if you're watching whether or not you're watching the unrated or the theatrical cut, this is a full body torso effect. This is not Peter Weller at all. That's why the effect looks as good as it does. From the face, you can kind of tell it's just kind of a doll. It's just practical effects. But when he pulls that trigger and you see his head just, oh my god, man, that is hard to watch. And the impact as Peter Weller just hits the ground, and those eyes, he's gone, man. Like, as I'm looking at him, like, oh, he's fucking gone. It's so brutal. He does such a great job of just lifeless. Like, holy shit. But an interesting note, after, and before I get into that, Lewis comes up, sees Murphy there, sees that he's dead. Obviously couldn't get involved with this, or she's going to be fucking dead herself. There's no way.
So now she's using some restraint.
Thanks,
now.
Thanks, Lewis. now you are. But yeah, I love the I I love the whole shot of him just fucking hitting the ground and just eating shit, because it's his head, just the way his head rocks when he hits it. It's just like, oh, like god damn, man, like that's really hard to watch.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. What I thought was really awesome is Paul Verhoeven wanted a real medical team to be the people who lifelight him. So that is a hands-on, 100% real.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because I was like, dude, there's just no way. These guys don't seem like actors. They don't seem, they're not being over dramatic. They're way too professional. They're way too concise. It's like these guys are awesome. Are nailing this down so perfectly. And I always liked that kind of. I always
realism.
Yeah, that realism. That shit is just so great because. I'm not really expecting that out of a movie like this. They could have just hired actors or whatever, but it is, it's such a great scene. You could have just showed him being rushed through the halls of a hospital, but no, we get a fucking full on like helicopter view, landing on the top of the hospital, like getting him in. I was like, holy shit! Like this is actually a great scene for something that's only a few seconds long. It's a fucking great scene. But
the music is awesome.
What did you think of the death scene with Murphy's murder?
Oh my god, just excess. It's just completely excess, and I think that's what makes it stand out in my mind. I mean, like this is not to bring it up again, but the remake. I can't remember shit about the remake, but in this movie, there's just so much that's memorable, and it's because of 80s excess. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just completely. Let's fucking destroy this guy beyond repair. Mm-hmm. And it's just, dude, I will never forget. There was an episode of Family Guy, and they do a cutaway because they love doing cutaways. And something about like I think they're playing paintball in their house.
Yes.
Yeah, and like seriously, there's like a moment where they cut away, and like Peter Weller's in the kitchen just getting absolutely destroyed.
Oh yeah, they're playing paintball. Quagmire gets shot. Yeah.
If I find it online, I'll post it in the after party.
Oh man, I love that. Hey, you're doing better than Peter Weller at a Robocop.
Yeah. And it's just seriously him just getting fucking destroyed. But yeah, man, like it's crazy. There's no other word for it besides crazy. Like it's just, here are some good fucking villains, like making sure that their antagonist is dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's none of that. Oh, let's fucking shoot him once and walk away and hope that he's dead and hopefully he doesn't come back and avenge us. No, that doesn't happen. We want to make sure he's dead.
Right. And for all intents and purposes, it's like this guy should be fucking dead. Like,
oh yeah.
Even nowadays, like this movie's made in 87, 30 years later, we still don't have the technology to do this. Like, there's no way to bring somebody back like that. Like, even if you can transfer consciousness into something else, the brain is gone. Like, there's no fucking way, man. But and that's another thing that's crazy. Obviously, in this fictional future, we have the technology to resuscitate people from the dead. Like, he is dead. He's flatlined. Like, there's nothing, I don't think he even has hearts, lungs, kidneys. Like, it's literally just, I guess, the central nervous system and the brain. And that's really about it. But even that's been damaged. Like, how the fuck is this guy up and walking around? You got to let go of some of that stuff. But at the same time, it's like, oh, of course, we have the technology to let people live as long as they want, but we're definitely going to keep it under our belt and use it for military purposes and selling it to somebody else who's not a common person. Like, I think that's just crazy. I've always laughed at that. It's like, obviously they could do this with everybody and fix so many people, and they're like, nah, fuck it, we're just going to privatize it. But
yeah.
But yeah, we get these kind of last scenes. Murphy, hey, can you do that, Dad? And he's seeing seeing his life flash before his eyes. It's so unsettling. Just the shot of Peter Weller's face, his eyes wide open, the tubes being rammed down his throat.
Yeah.
It's just just great, like kind of body horror, just stuff being inserted into you and pulled out. But yeah, Murphy's pronounced dead. And as soon as he flatlines, the next scene, we get a hard cut to the boot and him being booted up as Robocop. We get a lot of these introductory scenes of Robert Morton's crew, what their plans are for him. They decide they're going to, I think, oh yeah, we were able to save the left arm. You know what? I thought we agreed on total body prosthesis. Now lose the arm. It's like, oh shit, man, just fucking brutal. And I love the, what can we do with him? Well, he's legally dead. He signed the affidavit. Legally, we can do anything we want to with him. Like, fuck, man. Like, you guys have no fucks given about this shit.
Just no conscience whatsoever.
Yeah, and one thing, I can't believe I skipped over this. I gotta put a fucking pin in this right now, because a thing that I missed all the time as a kid is Robert Morton at the beginning talking to Dick Jones and the old man, saying, we've taken top candidates and put them in high risk factor situations. Like, they want him to die. And I was like, what the fuck, man? And it's crazy because this never gets, it's kind of pissing me off now that I thought about it. Like, I wish I wouldn't have even thought about it, because you have someone who's betrayed by the law. Like, they're betrayed by the people who they're funding the police. They're doing all the stuff, but at the same time, he remains a kind of servant to the police. Like, even though, I mean, it's not really the police officers that did it, it's this money-hungry company behind it. But still, I mean, he remains a servant to them. Robocop 2, Robocop 3, we had a TV show, there was all types of stuff. And I was like, I always thought that was kind of fucked up. He gets revenge on the people who are kind of held responsible for his initial murder. But, like, who are the people who got you there in the first place? Like, it was Robert Morton. It was Robert Morton's idea, is all the stuff, the old man. That's why, like, I used to kind of look at the old man and be like, I don't think he really knows what these people are doing under his nose. Like, I don't think he really understands what these people are doing. And then I go back to that scene. I'm like, no, he straight up told him we put top candidates in high risk factor situations. I'm like, that is
So he doesn't have deniability. He's well aware.
Right. I'm like, dude, that is so fucked, man. Like, and that part gets me so much more as an adult now than when I'm a kid. I'm just like, cool, do your leg gun thing.
Calm down, Colin. Calm down and move on, son.
Oh, God. I fucking foam. Somebody get me a Diet Coke. I'm foaming at the mouth here.
Diet Coke.
But yeah, we kind of get these first scenes of them building him. We see the New Year's Eve party. I love this because this is more world building. This is him just slipping in and out of consciousness the whole time, and it's a really good way to do like time passing as well. Right, yeah. Like, I actually, this morning, first thing I did, I woke up and I finished The Dead Zone by Stephen King. Right. I've been, my friend Chris got me that. I'm gonna mention Chris a lot on this show. He helped write the music for it. It's like, he's definitely gonna fucking get a lot of shout outs, but, cool. He got me The Dead Zone, and it feels very much so like this because the character in The Dead Zone is in a coma for 5 years. And it's interesting the way Stephen King, I don't want to ruin anything about the book, but it's very interesting how he shows the passage of time, because you're in that coma with him for like several chapters, and you're like, man, you would think this would be fucking boring, and at times it kind of is, but it's people who, like Paul Verhoeven and Stephen King, that know what to do with this kind of time, and showing the production of him, the time that's going on. I love that we see, it's just them building him, and then it's New Year's, and then it's reveal day, just all real quick. In like 10 seconds, we get these really quick shots. But the fucking reveal of him is great, man. I know I'm sucking the titty of this movie really hard and fucking bleeding it dry, and I'm going to have to move to the other tit soon, but
there's like zero milk in that tit.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. It's all wrinkly and stuff, but the thing that I love is, it's that first person view, and there's Robert Morton. Come on, this is for you, and he's walking past. The shot of him on the TV is like, whoa, what the fuck is that? Like, you're like, what the fuck is that, dude? Yeah. Like, because you still really don't see it. Oh, It's so good, man. And like, as a kid, I remember going, whoa, no, go back. Like, what the fuck is that?
Rewind.
Right. But I thought it was just so cool the way they were able to conceal it. Like, it's just enough. It's just an eyeful, and it leaves you wanting more. It's like, oh fuck, dude, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Thankfully, they don't make you wait too long.
Yeah, for sure. But they still keep it in just enough shadow for just long enough that you're like, okay, seriously, man, like, what the fuck? Like, I want to see this thing. I'm getting antsy over here. But I love, Robert Morton, all the guys from OCP show up at Murphy's old precinct, which is, I guess, somewhat of a small fucking miracle, coincidence, I guess, but yeah, they show up, and immediately there's just kind of like a pissing contest of who's got superiority here. The sergeant has problems with OCP. This guy's a good cop. You can just tell right off the bat. It's like this guy just doesn't like what he has to do, but he's a cop. He's got to do it.
Well, he's black, so
yeah,
he's good-hearted.
Right, yeah. It's like I love the captain or their chief of police or whatever they call him. I'm sorry, Sergeant Warren Reed. That's his name. But yeah, we kind of get this pissing contest between OCP and the police officers. They're talking about yeah, we're OCP, we own the cops. So why don't you get lost? But just these great, everybody in the whole entire precinct is just having a fucking meltdown. Yeah, and I love as the sergeant is talking, like right in the middle, hey, what is this horse? And he just stopped. You hear the clunk. I'm like, oh, and the sound design in this movie,
yeah,
this cannot go unnoticed. They handmade these sounds. This is not just like a sample of sounds. They went out and took like bike chains and stuff and made this. I
love when they do shit like that.
Yeah, it's fucking great, man. Like, it adds so much of an authentic feel to it, because it's like, what is that sound? Like, what can that possibly be? It's like you hear the Wilhelm scream and stuff a lot. The sound of when a car breaks down has been used 1,000 times, the same sound in a lot of movies. But to get just this brand new kind of sound design is fucking great. And it sounds, just the... And you're like, holy shit, what the fuck is that? And the glimpses of him through the glass are great. Everyone's just staring at him, and just walking and staring, not taking their eyes off of him. And I love he just turns and goes into that door, and there's that one, I guess he's like a criminal in the background. What is this horse shit? I love that guy, because even the criminals are like, oh fuck, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, this is we're kind of just getting like the teases of the RoboCop, and I love the chaos of all the cops running. I don't know what it is about that. Like, I love
It's a cool shot. Yeah, you just see them kind of like scrambling because they're so curious to see what the fuck this thing is.
Right. Yeah, and it's great because you feel it alongside them. You don't know. You kind of have an idea what's going on, but everybody's kind of in this together. Like, hey, what the fuck is going on, man? And it's great. Yeah, it's great to see all the cops and everybody just kind of gathering around to see what the fuck exactly is going on. But yeah, I love they're basically just going to the firing range and testing off the badass RoboCop gun, which I believe is a fully automatic Beretta.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it is a fully automatic Beretta. Either way, fucking sick gun, man. Oh yeah, my god.
Cool. The burst fire?
Oh man, those are some of my favorite. Like when I'm playing, Call of Duty, or I'm playing this, or I'm playing that. Those are some of my favorite guns to have, because I'm always going for. Especially, I play a lot of zombies. I'm always going for headshots and shit. So, but yeah, just that burst fire, and not even just like, the accuracy on the targets is one thing, but it's just splitting them in half. Like cutting the body straight off of the heads of these targets.
Awesome. You just see the damage of what this thing can do.
Right, you're like, holy fuck. But yeah, we've basically now we get kind of our first really good looks at RoboCop.
Patrol.
Do what?
He does his little patrol, the first patrol.
Yeah, and it's great. It's just been such a great setup and a great reveal. They were just able to keep him in the shadows long enough that we're still like, what the fuck? And I love this.
They're just sending this fucker out for the fucking first night he woke up.
Yeah, I guess it's just like
cool.
they don't send any other officers with him. Like, oh hey, by the way,
quality control. quality assurance.
Right, this guy could totally freak out and go into a subway and just punch everybody to death. You know that, right? Like, but one thing is great. You see the leg gun for the first time, and you see him spin the gun and slide it back in, and it's like, okay, so Murphy's obviously still in there. But the great scene is as he's leaving, the keys, the sergeant throwing him the keys, took them like 50 times to get that right because his hands were so heavy that he couldn't grip the keys fast enough. But I think that's great. It's such a good detail that they were like, dude, it's just so frustrating by the end of it. We get this first night on patrol. We got this guy coming in robbing the convenience store. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, before we go on, I fucking hate the I'd buy that for $1 guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. He's so fucking annoying. It doesn't even make any sense. What are you? I guess he's just kind of like just a shitty kind of like caricature of TV back then, or what TV is going to become, like reality shows and things like that. So I get what they're doing, but it's just so fucking shit.
Yeah, he's God, that's got to be the point. Like, he's so the mustache, the glasses, the whole bald thing, like the hairline, like But I wondered if you caught this. The guy who's holding up this convenience store, did you see what he grabs and brings up to the counter? Did you pay attention to what it is?
No. Oh, what was it?
It's a fucking Iron Man comic.
Was it? Oh, yeah. That's sick. Because Iron Man is basically fucking Robocop.
Right, exactly. And that's the whole thing. He walks up and it's a bunch of comic books.
That's cool.
There's like Thor and a crazy amount of shit, but he specifically grabs an Iron Man one.
That's cool.
But yeah, this is kind of not kind of, but it's really our first night of Robocop in action.
What the fuck? What gun is this? Okay, so I play a lot of Call of Duty and Battlefield and shit. I know my guns kind of well. What the fuck is this gun? Is this a Type 100 from like World War One? This thing?
It's like an oil gun or something from World War II. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what do you have, an MP40? Like, what?
Yeah. It's very rare to see like a side magazine like that these days.
Yeah, I was kind of perplexed by that as well. But I love just the whole time, as soon as he sees Robocop, fuck you, and the bang, zang, the bullets are just flying off, and he just bends the barrel of the gun and just stops and looks back up at him. And as he runs, he does the whole thing. He just spins around and clotheslines him and sends him through the fucking thing. It's like, you might have done more collateral damage that was in the fucking that was in the red.
He fucking literally leaves the fucking the shop owners just cowering in fear.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we had $46 in there. That door was this $200. Like, what the fuck? But and this is coming up. We've got his second bust of the night. Another really iconic scene from this is the woman who's being attacked by these two guys, and they're definitely going to sexually assault her. Like, these guys are fucking savages. And another thing as a kid that terrified me, this was kind of one of the first scenes that I saw where it was heading towards a rape scene, sexual assault. I was like, oh, this is making me fucking nauseous,
uncomfortable.
Man. Yeah, I mean, as just a little kid, you're like, what the fuck? But yeah, just so fucking infamous with him shooting through the skirt and hitting the guy in the balls. Like, the other dude like, fuck this dude.
I got a question for you.
What's that?
I mean, come on, Robocop. What if this woman was a transvestite?
Right?
like you would have shot that poor woman or he or transvestite's dick off. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Oh, did you just assume her gender?
I did. I am a shitlord. I know.
No, Robocop. It's like Robocop just assumes. Oh, no, there's nothing.
Yeah, Robocop literally assumes her gender. Holy shit, Robocop, you are not woke.
Now, to be fair, the hole in her dress is really far down. So, like, if indeed there was a penis present, this is a huge dick.
It's a long dick.
He shoots the dick, and she's like, nah, it's fine. I needed to lose a couple inches.
It's all right. It saves her the operation.
Yeah, she's like, no, okay, thanks. But yeah, that's fucking nuts. Such a infamous scene in this movie, because that's just like, oh man.
You get that iconic line. Your move, creep.
Oh yeah, dude.
Iconic. Yeah.
That's so fucking good. But yeah, we're basically just kind of getting, 3 scenes really in like under 5 minutes that are just bang, 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 bang. We're just cutting out, we're just busting through these quick scenes of.
That's what I'm saying, man. This movie's very tight. Like, it's very. Once it becomes Robocop, it's very like nonstop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It gains momentum and it just keeps fucking running with it. But, I love one thing I really love about the scene is basically we have a town councilman who didn't get reelected. He's taken the mayor and everybody else hostage. Robocop just, oh yeah, we got the situation quarantined, blah blah, and he just literally drives through the police tape and just breaks it and pulls right up to the front of it. But what's great about this?
Given.
Yeah. What's great about the scene though is that Paul Verhoeven, the shots of Terminator, god damn it. The shots of RoboCop, looking through the walls at them and seeing the thermal scan, that's not just like a superimposed image or anything. He got the actors naked and had them dress up in the body paint, and then they added these kind of crazy filters over it.
What?
Yeah, he said it looked better and it was cheaper and it was easier to do and it took less time. They're like, dude, fuck it, man, let's do it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But he's demanding, a new car, and I want my old job back. And I'm like, yeah, sure, fuck it, yeah, just let the mayor go and blah, blah.
Yeah, it's like, sure, you can continue working here after you've fucking killed this person. No worries.
Right, yeah, it's like you've already murdered someone, but yeah, sure, I think we can look the other way if you just let the mayor go. But what's hilarious is RoboCop punches through punches one arm through, second arm through, pulls him through, and punches the guy out the window. Now, what's hilarious is when he punches him out the window, we don't really see the end of it. We just see those camera crews kind of run up real quick. But if you if you watch it, if you watch really closely to where it's the news clip of the it's the news clip of the anchor telling the story the next day. If you watch very closely after he falls out of the window, you can see his legs bounce back up into frame from where he's hitting.
Oh my god, really?
Where he's hitting just like a mat or something.
That's gold.
That's fucking hilarious. I've always loved that. But
also,
what's that?
He chucks this guy out the window, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is this guy dead?
Yeah, it's like this guy might not be dead. But yeah, we're just getting a lot of exposition about RoboCop. RoboCop, he's a new cop in town, and blah blah blah. Part man, part machine. What is he? And we get cuts to Robert at his desk and him talking about.
Oh shit, Colin, I don't want to go past it. Hold the phone. The fucking ad. The fucking what's the board game? Nukem.
Nukem, yeah. God. Oh my god.
Oh, you have Pakistan. What?
Yeah. No more military aid, Buster.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
That is so fucking good. Like, it's nuke them before they nuke you.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's beautiful.
That's so good. But I love Morton's line. Hey, there's a new cop in town. His name's RoboCop. Yeah, it's like there's a new guy in town named RoboCop. Blah blah. Basically, just riding high off of off of his success. They actually promote him up to a vice president, and this is this great scene with him talking shit about. Talking about Dick Jones as he's taking a shit behind them, like, oh man, that's fucking bad.
I don't even think Dick wiped. He didn't even fucking move in that fucking stall. He didn't wipe shit.
No, and I'd be so funny if he just wiped his ass with the hand that he runs through his hair. Like,
oh Jesus Christ!
He just kind of smears it around back there for a minute.
Just like shit all on his head. He's trying to look menacing.
Yeah, right. He's just got a big fucking just a little turd in his hand waiting for Robert.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where we get another confrontation between Robert and Dick Jones. I was young. I was an executive at this company once. And we always make fun of the old man. And once I even called him asshole, but there was always respect. And basically tells him you crossed the fucking line. He's like your machine is a bastard. He's like, who cares if the Ed 209 didn't work? Well, I guaranteed military cells for 20 years. Well, it's probably pretty important to the old man, Dick.
Yeah, Dick.
Yeah, I love the use of his name, Dick, in this. It's so fucking great.
You get a letter when Clarence says it as well.
Oh, dude, I quote that all the time at work. We're gonna be friends after all, Richard. I was like, I fucking love that line, man. And just Kurtwood Smith's delivery is so fucking good. But basically, Dick Jones is warning Robert to stay out of it. You know, fuck you, stay out of my way. You know, blah blah blah. Again, second or third warning that Robert Morton's got about Dick Jones not heeding it at all. Doesn't give a fuck. And what's really interesting, actually, is the actor who plays Dick Jones, Ronnie Cox, is actually, I don't think he's really played many villains. They said he was always just the nice guy next door. You know, I think he did a couple of musicals, maybe. But I think that's what's so kind of scary about him at the same time, is he still kind of retains that. He comes across as a nice guy. He comes across as he could just be oh yeah, that's Mr. Jones who lives down the street. He's a nice guy, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you get in his way. Oh my God, this guy will fucking feed you your goddamn liver. Like, he's terrifying in a way. But I love basically as what he says to Robert. He's like, oh, well, he's a nice man, but he's a tired old man. He's like, and he's number one around here, and I'm number two. Doesn't take much math to figure that out, does it, Bobby? I was like, oh, fuck, man. And you can see Robert's face. He's like, oh, fuck, yeah, you're right. He's like, fuck.
For sure.
But yeah, I love, you know, and like you said, the movie is so tightly compacted that the pacing of it is done really well. We're not seeing too much of Robocop. We're seeing what's going on with the people who developed him. We're seeing that with the people who have conflicts with that. He's also got his own thing going on with not only finding the people who murdered him, but they've also got his flashbacks and stuff like that, which we're about to get some really great scenes on. I'm going to say this is my favorite scene of the movie, without a doubt.
Interesting.
It's not the violence. It's not any of that stuff. The way that it's shot, the way that the music, is so fucking great. But basically, I guess they've got him on analysis right now. You know, they're just taking him off the street, running some diagnostics, making sure everything's fine. But everything is not fine. We've got him having these fucking horrible flashbacks while strapped into the chair. But what's even more terrifying is that, you know, they've got the cameras on him as he's jerking around, but the bottom cameras that are static, all that appears in the static is Clarence Bodiger. And it's like, holy shit, like, that's fucking scary, man. The way he looks, it's just Kurtwood Smith with a gun pointed straight down. It's like the last thing he ever saw when he was alive. It's like, holy fuck, man. Like, that's awesome. That's fucking cool, menacing. Yeah. But I love is he just, you know, he's jerking around and he's freaking out, and it just stops. And he just stands up and fucking just starts walking. Like, I love the pause.
I love the timing. Like, you can see, because his brainwaves are like being sort of transcripted on that machine. Mm-hmm. And like, as soon as like Clarence pulls that final shot, it just goes fucking flatline. It's awesome. I love it.
Yes, and just his whole movements of, you know, you like, God, dude, I just can't talk about it enough. Just Peter Weller, the head snap, the shoulder snap, like just the walk, you know, opens up the gate. Hey, stop, halt! And they're trying to get him to stop. But I mean, what the fuck do you do? Like, this thing's kind of become sentient.
You need a fucking brick loader or some shit to stop this thing.
Right? Yeah, it's like, I don't know, to get a big ass magnet. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I took a clip of this when this was on Netflix, and took a clip of it and recorded it and posted it to my Instagram. I was like, dude, this is such a fucking good scene. I fucking love it. But basically, RoboCop's kind of gone rogue. Like, not really. He hasn't fully gone, you know, off his walker, but you can, you know, it's like a second, third day on the job. Something is not going right. You know, this guy is having catastrophic, you know, conflicts with what's going on between his programming, but you know, also with, if you want to call it like his soul, his spirituality, whatever you want to call that, is still there inside the machine. And without the machine, there can be no Murphy. But without Murphy, you know, it's vice versa. They're codependent on each other almost. What makes RoboCop a good cop is not the Robo part; it's the Murphy. And I think that's so great. But Murphy can't survive survive without the robot. It's a great trade off. That's what I said. It really reminded me of Upgrade in a lot of ways. But Lewis kind of confronts him before he leaves the building and talks to him. Murphy, it's you. Tries to get him to talk, try to remember. He's just totally dumbfounded by it. But I love that, have a good day. Somewhere there is a crime being committed, and just walks away, gets in the car, and drives the fuck off. I hate the little, whatever the fuck you want to call him, that fucking yuppie, the guy who's in control. You're in a lot of trouble, Missy. And it's like, what the fuck did she do?
Yeah. Did you talk to him? Like, fuck off.
Yeah, I do love the way he screams that. Did you talk to him? What did he say? And it's like, dude, you can feel his stress level behind this. Like, they do some great stuff with the movements and everything. But we get some more bullshit between OCP and what's going on with the cops. If you interfere in this, blah blah blah. And I'm gonna have your ass. All this shit from Robert Morton. I love the sergeant. Forget it, kid. This guy's an asshole. But yeah, I think it's at this point that I'm probably going to put this up as one of the greatest films ever made. No, I'm just kidding. That would be so funny to be like, so let me get something straight. You don't like Tropic Thunder, but you think that Robocop is one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah, look, it's they're worlds apart, but
Right. But yeah, I love this. I love all this stuff that's going on, kind of behind the scenes as well. We see the logistics of this kind of beast existing. There's going to be different groups claiming different things and fighting and quarreling over stuff. I like that. I like that kind of the logistics of that. But another super great scene that's coming up is the scene with Emil. Oh man. So great, he's hey, give me all the money in your register and put 40 on pump number 2. Like, he's just so casual about it. But yeah, it's in these scenes right here that I'm like, dude, this guy looks like fucking Seth Rogen to me. Like, I can't stop seeing Seth Rogen in his face.
Really, I can't see it at all. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just something when I look at him, I think fucking Seth Rogen. But But I love this whole scene, oh, you're a college boy, think you can outsmart a bullet? But I love this whole scene between him and Robocop is really kind of the catalyst that makes Robocop finally okay,
this is the change in the movie.
Right, yeah, this is the part where things really start to get interesting. And I love the exchange between him and Robocop, and of course Robocop drops the line, dead or alive, you're coming with me, and Emil kind of gives him, dude, yeah, and he gives himself up, it's like, what, we killed you, and driving away, shooting at him, one armed on a fucking motorcycle with gas spews everywhere. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Got a question for you, Colin.
Yo.
I love poking holes in your in this movie.
Oh, of course.
So, dead or alive, you're coming with me. So, is he the paddy wagon now? Is he the hearse?
Yeah, fuck it. I'm sure he's got some kind of backpack on that thing. Just strap him in, dude.
Yeah, let's take him to the morgue now.
Yeah, in the later movies, he's got fucking jetpacks and shit, and it's like, fuck
Seriously?
it, yeah. Oh, dude,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
The third movie's fucking terrible, but the second one's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this. Emil's riding off, and I mean, the explosion behind him is so
beautiful.
fucking huge.
It's so beautiful. This is such okay. I love my explosions, and this it's so good, man. It's like it's obviously an actual explosion. Like they blew something up. It's not CG. It's just a fucking great explosion.
Yeah, and the actor who plays Emil, Paul McCrane, he was like, all I knew is like I was next to this building, and the next thing I knew, I just fucking was. He's like, I felt like I was on fire. He's like, it was just insane. He's like, I wasn't even the one on the bike. It was a stunt double, and he was riding off, and I felt like this insane heat wave. But of course, Emil just eats shit into the front of that car. Which, brutal, dude. I don't think he's getting up from that bike wreck. Dude, there's no fucking way. But yeah, Emil wipes out who are you? And, not able to answer him or anything. But, Robocop's like, fuck it. I'm going to the Detroit Police Department Criminal Identification Division. I'm fucking going down there and I'm figuring this shit out myself.
Waltzes right in.
Yeah, I love that. And the guy who, hey, this is a restricted area. And
what is it exactly that you want? Oh, fuck off.
It's a restricted area. This guy's a fucking cop, right?
Yeah, I know.
He's worked on the police force twice, living and dead now.
I'm sure you've seen it on the news. That's literally all that they broadcast.
Right, yeah. It's like everybody's so surprised by who the fuck this guy is, but what is really great is that the arm that comes up with the blade is not anywhere attached to Peter Weller. It's just a prop arm that they bring up because it looks kind of goofy when you're watching it and you're like, that looks a little weird. Like it wobbles a little bit. Like it looks kind of odd. But basically, he's running. He remembers and he runs a scan on Emil and figures out who Emil is, and that's where he brings up Clarence Boddicker and Leon. And Joe Cox brings everybody up and sees the rap sheet on Clarence Boddicker, like, Jesus, like, suspect in the murder of Murphy, suspect in the murder of Alcott, suspect in the murder of Fredrickson, assault, rape, battery, arson, kidnapping, rape, arson, battery.
Pretty much like, everything bad.
Dude, it's like, God damn, man, that's fucking insane. But yeah.
Can you imagine this guy fucking, just rape? Oh, God damn.
Oh, and part of
creepiest looking motherfucker. He's like,
oh yeah. Well, and it's crazy to look at him and think, oh, that's Red Foreman from that '70s show. Like,
oh, that's right, yeah.
I actually heard a fucking funny, like, not a real fan theory, but someone was like, yeah, basically the whole RoboCop movie is what happens after Eric leaves and all this stuff. Like, it's what Red starts doing after the end of it. But yeah, I love this whole scene just with him remembering, and he looks up himself and sees, Alex Murphy deceased, 548 Primrose Lane. And it's like, oh shit, man, like, just that's really got to hit home from him. And now here comes one of the hardest scenes for me to watch, honestly, in the whole movie.
Pretty heartbreaking.
Out of all the violence, out of everything, this is still one of the hardest scenes to watch, because not only do you come back to your house to see if there's any kind of familiarity, see if there's anything that you can remember, but there's that fucking annoying ass, like, self-serving robot, or just that servant robot going all throughout the house, basically like an on-site realtor. And it's fucking heartbreaking for RoboCop to go in and see, there's still stuff sitting where you can tell they just fucking packed their shit and left. Like, there was no, let's get everything cleaned up, let's make sure everything looks nice. Like, there's furniture covered in sheets and just dead plants all over the fireplace. Like, it looks so fucking desolate and abandoned. Like, it looks awful. But with just these great flashback scenes of them living in the house, and I love how it just goes static and comes back up as the actual image. And there's the son in there watching TJ Laser. Can you do that, Dad? And just the music, the strings that are playing. An interesting thing about the music, as I said, when there was scenes where RoboCop was having these scenes of humanity and it was supposed to be more Alex Murphy than RoboCop, they would use strings. But when it came down to RoboCop scenes, they used more. Not like strings, not something that brings out, right. Yeah, it's like this very imperialistic kind of thing when RoboCop rolls out. But God, the place just looks awful and trashed. It just grosses me out, like that burnt book and dead flowers everywhere. But all the memories of him, them at Halloween carving out the pumpkins, all of that stuff, and the final scene with his wife. I just wanted to let you know that I love you, and I love the culmination of all of this, which is, hey, why not make an offer today? And he just punches through that fucking thing, because I love it's the first time you see any kind of emotion on RoboCop's face. He's gritting his teeth, and he's just kind of like. And it looks like he's fucking freaking out. And like right at the end of that, he finally just hauls off and decks that fucking thing. And I love that, especially just how fucking annoying that thing is. What did you think about this scene?
This scene right here is the heart of the movie, for sure. Like, it's the most affecting scene. It might be my favorite scene in the movie, I think. Oh. Yeah. Like I liked earlier. You see that moment in the flashback where she's like, I have to tell you something," or something like that. Like she's like, but then like it cuts off at "I love you," and like. The first time I saw it, I remember thinking, "Oh no, she probably like cheated on him or some shit." But like,
Oh yeah.
but it's a good thing. Like it's very positive. And it just reminds him of like of what he's lost. You know, of what I can't. It's just a good affecting scene, man. Like, and it adds so much humanity to this movie that's already so lean and like fast paced, and you know, it's not wasting any time. It does it in a way that's so like compact, but it's still very hard hitting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's very
awesome.
it's very concise and to the point. Like we don't spend a lot of time in there, and the little time that we do is just gut wrenching. Like ugh. But yeah, RoboCop rolls up. He's fucking hunting these motherfuckers down now, and finds Ray Wise's character Leon, you know, at the dance party, just you know, fucking dancing around and being a jerk off and shit. And I love, you know, he pulls the gun, he smacks it away, kicks him in the nuts, and fucking breaks his goddamn foot.
Dude, did you notice the fucking when he smacks the gun away, the guy catching it and like just
he's like,
dancing?
yeah, fuck it. He's like, I got a gun.
What the fuck, Detroit? Like,
yeah, he's probably like, oh, cool, I got another one here in my pocket. They'll match.
yeah. Like he just like, oh yeah, cool, fucking free gun.
Yeah, right.
I'll go home, file the serial numbers off, and hopefully it wasn't used in a murder.
Yeah, and the gun's like covered in blood. He's like, fuck it, it'll wash off.
Yeah, fucking lightly dusted in cocaine.
Yeah, the part that I love is that immediately after he kicks RoboCop in the balls, it cuts to this random dude in the crowd doing this like kind of crazy face. That's Paul Verhoeven. That's Paul Verhoeven.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
right,
shit, dude! Like, I fucking love that cameo. Also, there's another famous cameo. I don't know if we've passed it yet, but it's for the SUX 6000, the car.
Yeah.
John Landis. John Landis pops up, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Just randomly for whatever reason, but yeah, this is another great scene of this movie with fucking
Threesome.
Do what?
The threesome.
Oh, dude, yeah. I just like, oh my god. He's like, I could just think of something, and it makes me so horny. He's like, oh, that's why I love intelligent women. I'm like, what the fuck? There's like two brain cells between the three of you. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, this is. I want to make a little note here. This is the part where my VHS tape was ripped out of the tape player and turned into fucking trash. Like, this was definitely the part. And I mean, had my dad hung around for 1 minute longer, probably would have pissed him off even more. Just you don't know who the fuck you're messing with.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but I love this whole thing, this whole scene now as an adult because it's so absurd and just so over the top. But as a kid, it's like, God, dude, he fucking crippled. Like, I could understand as a kid, like, oh, he's shooting him in the fucking leg so he doesn't leave. Like, holy fuck. Like, this is demented, man. Like, this is like, we're sending you a fucking message. Like, this is, you know, we asked you politely to get out of the way. You're going to die, you know, you're going to die violently now. Like, holy shit.
First we get bitches leave, which is a great fucking line. Bitches leave. And then, like, And then one of them turns around, are you going to call me? Like, seriously?
Yeah.
This guy just waltzed in with a gun, called you a bitch, and just fucking, what?
Yeah, and I love the other girl. She's like, come on. Like, grabs her, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, you know, Dick is laying down the law here saying, you know, I offered you a way out, you know, and you decided to make fun of me. And, and just Clarence, just so it's weirdly like pseudo-sexual as he pulls the pin out with his teeth, and I was like, oh my god, that's fucking kind of weird, man. And the double, I love double focus shots where like we kind of see something in the foreground and the background that are focused on, but there's that kind of blurry section a little bit in the middle. But as he's reaching for the grenade, there's coke all over the table. He's got fucking blood on his face, and he's just fidgeting with it just enough where he knocks it out of his reach. And I'm cashing you out, Bob. Like, oh man, that's fucking brutal. And yeah, that's the end of Robert Morton, murdered by Clarence Bodiger or on the orders of Dick Jones. But then we move on to another scene, which is super iconic in this. I've never heard of anybody who had their own. I mean, just a whole factory in broad daylight. Like, I'm sure there's some underground shit. Yeah. But God damn, dude. Like, just a whole... This is something next to, like, a paper printing press and, a place that builds car parts. They're like, oh, yeah, and then there's the cocaine factory.
Yeah.
Like, it's no big deal.
Well, yeah, you're getting, like, a... Imagine... Okay. Imagine a cousin of yours flies into fucking Detroit and you're living in Detroit. You want to show him a little tour of the city. You show him like a fucking stadium. You show him, I don't know, a nice fucking park to play soccer in or some shit like that. You show him where the clubs are, and then you just drive past this fucking little factory, and he's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just a cocaine plant." That's the old spot.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think, like, we would even manufacture our own cocaine here. Like, no, there's no fucking way. We're going to Colombia for that shit.
We're going to fucking Colombia. We're you know what? We're not going to Colombia, actually. We're going to fucking create our own American shit and, like, tread on that Escobar cunt's face.
Yeah, right. It's like the automobile industry collapsed, and they were like, well, we're all depressed. Yeah. Let's do fucking drugs.
Yeah,
like,
they used to call us... Yeah, they used to call us Motor City. Now we're just going to be called Narcotics Anonymous.
God, that's fucking great. But yeah, it's like this whole factory is just ridiculous. The fact that it would just exist, and no. I mean, I guess it's got to be Clarence Bodiger's connections that nobody's coming down and checking on it. But this is not even his factory. Like, this is just somebody he's trying to do deals with. I guess he's offering them some kind of money as like a payoff, or it never really says exactly why he's trying to pay them off. But I love this guy Sal. He's like, you bring a lot of heat on. You got a lot of people downtown, and you make a lot of my guys nervous. And he's like, Sal, I didn't come here to fuck around with you. And he fucking dips his fingers in his wine and snorts it. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I love that. And he dips his fingers in, snorts the wine, and Sal keeps drinking it. I'm like, nah, fuck that, dude.
It's fucking
like,
weird.
I would not keep drinking that shit. But it's like,
dude, I've never liked the way he busts the door down. Like, it just the way it bends, it just looks like plastic. Like wood and metal doesn't bend like that.
Right, yeah, it looks like it's being blown back with like explosions and shit. But I love Clarence's line. He's like, Sal, I don't want to fuck with you, Sal. He's like, let's put it to you this way. He's like, I got the expertise, I got the know-how, and I got enough muscle to shove this factory so far up your wop ass that you're gonna shit snow for a year. I'm like, oh shit. But yeah, that's where we're getting the fucking door kicked in, and of course this place is fucking armed to the teeth. And I get one of my favorite lines from the movie, as he pulls up. I try to remember exactly what it is that Robocop says, and he's like, freeze, or stop, or there will be trouble. He's like, oh, fuck you. It just fucking, they all just start unloading. But this is a great scene. Just the whole, how tactical he is, just not even looking, just pulling up behind him and shooting people. And just fucking wasting so many goddamn people. It's ridiculous. And, like, the fact that still, like you brought up earlier, nobody ever shot him in the face. Like, how does he not ever get shot in the mouth? Like, how does he never get shot in the mouth? I don't understand that. But
it's 80s shit.
Apparently, there's a factory next door that produces AK-47s and MP5 machine guns. Because these guys are fucking loaded. Uzis and everything. Oh my god, just everywhere. The machine guns of the 80s. But I love this whole scene with basically killing everybody that he can except for Clarence, and just God, he puts Clarence to the fucking ringer, man. Throwing him through windows left and right, and and it's like, well, what the fuck are you doing? I've got to deal with the cops. Blah blah. You have the right to remain silent. His name's Dick Jones, and he fucking throws him through the goddamn window. Throws him.
He barely gets Dick Jones out as he throws him through the fucking window, through the fucking thing.
Yeah, I fucking love that, man. And he's just, God, how much blood is on his face, man, from all those tiny little glass cuts. And, like, I fucking love that imagery of the way that he looks. But it's just so great, you know, as he's fucking choking him out. And you're a cop. And he's like, you're right, I am a cop. And basically arrest him. He's got, you know, his memory, it can be, is evidence. So he's got Clarence Bodiger on record saying, you know, he's friends with Dick Jones, you know, OCP runs the cops, you're a cop, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, this whole scene of them bringing Clarence in is so good. All the cuts all over his face, all of the blood in his teeth. Apparently, book him. What's the charge? He's a cop killer. I love as he's walking off and he spits that blood loogie onto the information page. Just give me my fucking phone call. Apparently improvised. The blood spit was totally improvised, and everybody, even because I think the sergeant, the actor that plays the sergeant, I saw in an interview, he's like, yeah, I got some of that fucking splatter like on me, and that's why my reaction is just like, what the fuck? And just totally improvised, but and of course there goes Robocop, you know, not thinking that there's going to be any consequences for trying to arrest a senior member of OCP. But I love his whole marching up there, and Dick's just sitting there like, oh well, yeah, I guess you better arrest me. And you know, basically
smug.
Yeah. And I guess we should have gone over the directives that Robocop has. Was to uphold the law, protect the innocent. I can't remember the third directive.
Hold on, I'll get it for you. So, uphold the law. Where are we? Jesus Christ. Okay, so number 1, serve the public trust. Number 2, protect the innocent. 3, uphold the law. And 4 is classified until now.
Right, yeah. And that's basically where Dick Jones goes in. You know, my little contribution to your psychic profiling, any attempt to arrest an official member of OCP results in shutdown. And this is where he kind of fucks himself up, though. Robert Morton made a mistake. I had to erase that mistake. And it's like, there goes your arrogance, man, thinking that this thing...
I love this. I love the failsafe that they've built into him. Like, I love the whole idea of, like, you have to do something to override the machine part of you. Mm-hmm. Like, it's cool, dude. I love it.
Yeah, and it makes total sense. There's no way that they would let this thing, you know, we're a company. We build products that benefit us. We're not going to build a product that's going to put us in jail. Like, there's no fucking way. But yeah, we get the epic battle, fucking epic, between Ed 209 and Robocop.
Can I drop something on you?
Yeah.
I hate this sequence.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it you don't like?
Look, I like the idea of a battle between Ed 209 and Robocop, because that has to happen, right? Like, we have to see these two things fight. But it's more just it's just how dated it is. I think that's what it is for me. Usually, I'm really good at sort of, okay, this is made in the 80s, so obviously it's not gonna look great.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, when Ed falls down the stairs, I don't know.
Yeah,
like, when he's screeching, and like, there's even a scene, like a moment before that, where he's like kind of convulsing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, it just looks ridiculous. Like, I don't know. Like, but you know what? I will give it this. It is memorable. The use of the stop motion is memorable. Like, it's something that I probably won't forget.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to give him props for that. But yeah, just. I don't know.
I like all the stop motion up until the part where there's he puts his gun right in RoboCop's face, and he takes his own arm and shoves it up. Like, that looks awful. It's claymation. It looks terrible. But the scenes where Ed 209 is actually on the move, like walking, I was like, you know, that looks pretty good for being like stop motion. Like, it's I can tell that it's not the real thing, but it doesn't look like, somehow it looked terrible with RoboCop being this claymation figure, but the next scene with Ed 209 coming down the hallway after him, it looks good. I think it looks great. But yeah, the whole thing of him trying to walk down the steps and just like screaming and stuff, it's really unsettling. Yeah. It's like, ugh.
Can we also acknowledge you've built a fucking awesome supercomputer machine Terminator thing to guard your city, but its main fucking villain is stairs.
Yeah, right. It's like, yeah, this guy can't just walk down like a simple set of stairs. Like, how did you get him into the fucking building? You didn't take him up the elevator. Like, how the fuck did you get him up there? Like, hey, we got to take him piece by piece and just assemble him upstairs. But yeah, this is actually my favorite shot of the movie is coming up. Not my favorite scene, but like if I could frame this and print it out as a poster, I absolutely would, and I fucking love it. You know, basically, Robocop comes downstairs. Dick Jones has alerted the police, who show up promptly to fucking blast him out of the goddamn sky. And a lot of the cops are like, you know, this is barbaric. This is a cop. You know, we have orders to destroy it. And they all just start fucking unloading, man. And it's really weird because 20 minutes ago we just had this exact same scene where you fucking annihilated all these guys, but for some reason now the police's weapons are just so much more powerful, and now they can blow chunks out of you. And I mean, I know he's already fucked up from the Ed 209 fight, so that's kind of where I kind of, it's a little bit more believable. But when they start unloading on him, and he's like down on both knees with like one hand up in the air just trying to block the shots, and he's crawling.
It's cool. Yeah.
The framing and the fucking way it looks is, and we get that again, that it comes back over it. It's fucking really great. Cause we see this guy who's he's been fucked over by, he's already been fucked over by OCP. They put him in the situation that he's in. He's been fucked over by the bad guys, who are the ones who, you know, yes, they technically murdered him, but, you know, he's been put in the situation by OCP. And then, to top it all off, then you get fucked over by the cops as well. Like, everybody is fucking against you, man. Like, goddamn. But thankfully, Nancy Allen shows up, and I love the way he gets away just from jumping down from car garage level to car garage level. I was like, I kind of like that, actually. He fucking totally bails on him. But yeah, they basically just barely get away as these cops are fucking lighting them up and shit. And I love this whole scene. Just the shots of him getting totally fucking annihilated as he's crawling away. There's dust everywhere, and there's huge light in the background. It's just really menacing, the whole thing. And you feel,
it's really well shot.
Yeah,
sure.
you feel the helplessness of him. It's like, God damn, dude, like, you can't do anything to escape this. It's like being stung by bees. It's like you just can't fucking escape this shit. They're just like swarming around him everywhere. But yeah, I've always had a real penchant for this scene. If I could freeze that one frame that I like and make it into a poster, I fucking so would. Like, I love that fucking scene. But yeah, like I said, thankfully Lewis shows up, and I think, you know, Murphy, it's you, you know, and he kind of has almost like a memory about it. He's like, oh yeah, I think I can trust her. Like, I think she's okay. And you can tell, like, his human side is starting to come out more and more and more. And it's really interesting. This ad that pops up immediately afterwards. This is the one I was talking about for the SUX 6000, which is totally intentional. They called this thing the Sucks 6000. Because they were just talking about how terrible of a fucking terrible of like gas mileage, and it was just a shitty car.
Right. It's very meta. Yeah, I dig it.
Right, 8.2 miles to the gallon. Like, that's all it gets. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. I've owned some cars like that, though. I can't say anything, but yeah, we get more fucking horrible news from the news reporter saying that the Star Wars Orbital Peace platform has gone off and killed several people. One of them a former president. You know, and the whole time they're like, "Oh yeah, that's terrible." Anyways, blah 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 blah, and just keep going, just keep fucking going on, like, just keep going on like nothing's happened. But yeah, I love these news reporters the whole time. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with these guys? And they're talking about the police strike, how people are going to be walking out at midnight. Which, I mean, how can you fucking blame them? They're literally just getting killed left and right. There's no way they can. Yeah, it's just like, they're not supposed to go on strike. It's like, yeah, but these guys are getting annihilated, man. Even the fucking super cop we just resurrected from the dead is getting fucking annihilated. But yeah, we finally get our first scene with Dick Jones and Clarence Bodiger. What I love is when Clarence Bodiger walks out and puts the gum on that woman's desk. That's actually Kurtwood Smith's wife. That's his real wife.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, that's kind of funny.
That's cool. That's cool. So wait, I got a question for you. So Clarence Bodiger can just walk in to OCP like this?
Yeah, I think that's kind of now, like, there's a reason why he hasn't been caught yet. Like, for whatever reason, if anybody hassled him, he'd be like, oh, yeah, you got a problem with me? Talk to Dick Jones.
Okay.
They'd be like, okay, sorry.
Yep. Yeah, because I was like, I mean, this guy's killed so many cops and shit like that. So, what, he can just waltz into OCP without any kind of disguise or anything like that? Just kind of...
Yeah.
He's fine?
Yeah, just like, fuck it, man. I guess he's just got such heavy level connections, which even Saul says earlier in that scene, you got a lot of connections downtown, you make a lot of my friends nervous. But this is such a great scene between them. Look at my face, dick. He's like, just going on about how, you'll have to destroy it. You shouldn't have talked. Like, his memory is admissible as evidence, and he's like, well, fuck you, blah blah. And that's where they start talking about the construction of Delta City. It's going to start happening in a few months. 1.3 million workers that are going to be coming in. Drugs, gambling, prostitution, and he's like an untapped market for a man who knows.
Yeah, he gives him motivation.
Right. Yeah, and this is that great line. Well, looks like we'll be friends after all, Richard. I fucking love that, because it's kind of the whole time everybody's been calling him Dick the whole time and shit. But
it's good.
I love this scene with Lewis and Murphy. She comes up, and I guess we should have mentioned also the food that they're trying to give him. This rudimentary paste. It's basically
like baby food.
Yeah, just baby food.
Yeah.
Which you never see him eat. Never even touches it. But this is a scene that really worked later on in Terminator 2. Was basically as things went on. It's the glasses of Arnold Schwarzenegger. As time went on, James Cameron was like, well, we need him to seem more human as time goes on. So when you first see Terminator, he's got the glasses on, and when he actually starts kind of building a relationship with John Connor, the glasses stay off for the rest of the movie. And that's kind of the same thing with Peter Weller here. Is the faceplate comes off and does not come back on. It's like never comes back on, and it's really unsettling to see his skin like meshed over the metal.
Dude, the makeup is so good.
Oh, it's Rob Bottin. I'm pretty sure he did The Thing. And it's like that guy is so fucking good. And I'm so happy that this movie even got made from what I heard about, just how much of a fucking nightmare it was. But yeah, we've got Murphy looking at himself in the reflection, and he's just obviously distraught with what he sees. And he asks, Murphy had a wife and son, what happened to them? She moved on, she thought you were dead, blah blah blah. And where did they move to? And she's like, Murphy, she's gone. It's like that's the end of it. She moved on, and that's where we get this. One of the probably my favorite line from the movie. I can feel them, but I can't remember them. And it's Peter Weller's delivery, just like. He's just so blank, and he's just so, I know they're there, but, like, I can't feel them anymore. And it's like, oh, man, that's fucking heartbreaking, dude.
Yeah, it's a gut punch.
Yeah, and I love Lewis goes to comfort him, leave me alone. And she just walks off. It's like, fuck, man, that is so goddamn sad. To just know that you're missing something, but not know what it is. Like, God. But... we'll follow that up with this scene. Well, one of the best scenes of the movie is obviously the police have gone on strike. It's just basically martial law now. We've got people throwing stuff through the fronts of shop windows. And I love there's Emil just trying to sit in his truck and watch I'd buy that for $1. And he just...
Oh, boy.
He gets pissed off and finally just throws the bottle through the window just to turn up the TV. It's like, holy shit. But yeah, Clarence arrives with those fucking goddamn, like, God killer guns. Man, like, Jesus.
Dude, they fucking look like Barrett 50 cals, the from Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
The fucking Barrett 50 cal sniper.
Dude,
it's crazy.
Yeah, they're fucking massive, man. And
like what kind of ammo are you loading in there?
Right.
Fucking explosive rounds.
Yeah,
Where the fuck did you get that?
It's like Left 4 Dead incendiary rounds. Like, what the fuck is this? But I love, Clarence pulls up in a brand new SUX 6000. So does Joe Cox, and they get out the guns. And I fucking love, Clarence pulls the gun on Joe's car, and he's like, "No, Clarence, come on, man!"
Yeah. Clarence, no, please.
He fucking blows the car up, and we got this whole scene of them just dicking around with the guns, and Emil blowing up the whole shop.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I like it. That's a great. These guys are great villains, man. They seem like good friends. That's the fucking crazy part. Like,
they seem very natural.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. But basically, yeah, he's saying, we've got to go hunt the Robocop. We've got, I love the earlier line. He's like, do you have oh God, he's like, do you have availability for military hardware? He's like, we practically are the military. It's like, oh, that's a good line. But yeah, I love this. They're all fighting over the gun and shit. That's so fucking great. These guys are just like kids, kids in a candy store. And these are real shops in Texas that they were just blowing up. And they said they were on the news every night filming this movie, blowing up the gas station, blowing up these real buildings, as basically just buildings that were for sale or going to be demolished.
That'll be so fun. Can you imagine if you were like the pyrotechnics advisor? Like, think about what's his name from Tropic Thunder, Danny McBride's character here.
Oh my God, yes! Like, holy
big
shit.
ass titties.
But one thing I really like about this is we move on and we see, Robocop, shooting that gun and startling Lewis awake, and him trying to just get his aim down right. It's a good bonding scene between them. It's just real quick, maybe even a minute long. I love it. It's a good scene to kind of bring them together, and I think it really kind of needed that scene to show that they were still kind of, even though Robocop is, my life is fucking ruined, but I've got to do something about this. Like, I've got to get revenge, and this is where it just totally becomes like a revenge flick. But I think it's great.
I love this entire action sequence, man.
Oh man, it's so fucking good, and just them getting picked up. It's like a reverse horror movie where, like, instead of the killer,
it's like Batman.
Yeah, right. He's just like, and what blows my mind is how, like, the guy Robocop can't fucking sprint to save his life, but the five guys with goddamn cannonball
He's like
guns,
fucking Michael Myers, just lumbering like. But it's still awesome, dude. Because like you also like kind of see how determined he is, just to fucking get some vengeance.
Yeah, one thing that I love is that we've gone back to the mill, the scene of the crime where this all started. We're back there again now, and I fucking love that.
Ground zero, baby.
Yeah, that's so fucking good. One quick thing, actually, when they're shooting the buildings and blowing them up, the character of Emil, the actor that shot that gun, he was like, man, that was another one where I pulled the trigger and it wasn't a real gun, obviously. It was a controlled explosion, but when they blew that up, you can see him fucking like stagger back, and he was like, man, I came back with like half an eyebrow gone. He was like, I was not expecting it to be that fucking bad.
It's cool.
Yeah, but I love, as soon as they pull up, they're all being quiet and kind of looking around, and the first thing he does is throw that fucking piece of metal and scares the shit out of all of them. And they just go fucking gun nuts, just blah 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 blah, just like over this tiny piece of scrap metal that he's thrown. But I
think you got him, bud.
Yeah, I think you got it. I think you got that shingle that he threw at you.
Yeah.
But I love, as after they're all done dicking off and shooting their gun, looking for me, and all of them, not one of them can get a goddamn hit. I'm like, dude, he's maybe not even 100 yards away from you.
I know.
Like, how the fuck did you miss that? Like, one of them even shot a fire hydrant 10 seconds ago. Like, your aim has to be some kind of good. Like, how the fuck?
I got another question for you. So, RoboCop, is he programmed to make jokes? Like, looking for me? like, do you have a, like, Interstellar? Do you have like a humor kind of dial?
I guess that's the part of like Murphy coming through. Just like this is this is just him kind of taking over, and he ends up killing Joe Cox, which is I think this guy would just be so good. Now, this might have been an LSG's podcast. I want to credit them if they said it, but I think it might have been Dean who said that this guy who plays Joe Cox would have been a great Joker. I was like, I actually could kind of see that, man. Like that would be great, or some kind of. I mean, definitely better than Jared Leto's. Fuck that guy. I can't go down that route right now. I don't have the time. But
Fuck that, man.
Yeah, I love it. They all kind of, they're still on the hunting party trying to catch Robocop. But we get, this is saying something. The most iconic death in this movie is Emil. Dude, God. Holy fuck.
Even Robocop can't deny this. He walks off and he looks back.
Yeah.
Like he glances at it.
Dude, yeah, he's like, I'm not fucking getting anywhere near that shit. You'll be dead soon enough. But yeah, just Emil wrecking, basically tries to hit Robocop. Robocop jumps out of the way, hits the toxic waste, and I love how it blows Emil out the back. That's such a cool effect.
Yeah.
Like, that's really cool. But I think that's just him walking, just, oh God, help me! And that guy's like, oh, get away from me, man! This is your friend.
I wish this was Clarence's death. I feel like it's the most... Like, Clarence gets a more sort of intimate death with the fucking knife through the thing, but this is just fucking insane.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Like, it's because I think it's it would be cool to save this for Clarence. Like, I think that would be a cool death, but it's like you said, it kind of cuts short the intimacy of it, right? The closeness of them. You kind of have to have that the day
in charge,
right? Like with the final destiny of Clarence, you kind of have to have that. The hero's won. He's got him down. Got him down against the rocks, kind of thing. Like. But I love, Clarence just flying around that SUX 6000. He's got Lewis on his tail. She's chasing after him. And I love, Emil ends up running up on Ray Wise, and he's just like, oh, get away from me, man.
Oh, wait,
yeah. No, that's when he shoves him off. But yeah, not even a minute later, there's fucking Clarence just destroying Emil.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! He looks like he's covered in like blue cheese crumbles. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, he's so gross looking, man. And just the worst of the worst of Detroit's toxic waste. Like, oh my God, I can't believe what he would be covered in. Like, what the fuck? He looks like one of the Rick and Morty Cronenberg monsters. Like, that's all I can fucking think of.
He looks like I can't. There's no fucking good like adjective to describe it. Like, it's just.
He looks like he's made of soup.
Alright, we'll go with that.
That's the closest I could think of. But
literally, like walking soup.
Yeah. Clarence hits Emil, which, and when it cuts inside the car and there's all that liquid and guts, like, all over the windshield, it's, like, fucking disgusting, man. And, he ends up flipping over it, kind of landing in that, I guess, a kind of quarry almost, just a construction area. But, goddamn, dude, you got to give it up to Clarence. Lewis parks her car, gets out, and Clarence is out and fucking on her, man. Just 4 or 5 shots just pegging her. And I for sure thought she was going to be fucking dead because he lights her ass up, man.
Yeah, he does.
But he's just like right out of the car, like, no, I'm disoriented. No, I'm just, dude, fucking blood down his face, one glass of his eyes just fucking shattered, and he just unloads on her, man. And she falls down the hill. He's not watching out for her, and this is where we see Leon, Ray Wise's character, going up to that construction booth, and we've got this kind of psych out where Clarence throws the gun, and he's like, all right, you got me. Yeah, I give up, and I love that. I'm not arresting you anymore, Clarence. And he's like, come on, you're taking this kind of personal, aren't you? And he's just walking out with the gun on him the whole time. One thing that I think is really interesting to note here is that Paul Verhoeven really eventually got into his head that the story of Robocop was the story of Jesus. It's a man who is basically crucified. He's fucking destroyed. He's resurrected, and after his resurrection, there's the kind of like the proof, like, oh God, here's our hero. He pictured him as like an American Jesus, so much that even in this scene, as Peter Weller is walking up to Clarence Boddicker, it looks like RoboCop is like walking on the surface of the water, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Right. I never got that from this. That's Verhoeven. It's his movie. But I never got that from this. I felt more that this was way more akin to like Frankenstein than anything. Frankenstein being created, doesn't know why he's here, and ends up turning on the people who created him or helped to create him. I think I never got any kind of like religious thing from this, but whatever. So basically, as he's coming up on Clarence, Leon drops just those fucking steel beams and shit. It looks like it just collapses him like an empty can of tuna. Like he just crumbles under those beams. And they have a kind of a short victory. Leon and Clarence are like, yeah, we got him. And there's fucking Lewis with the goddamn 50 cal, whatever the fuck that thing is, blowing up the whole tower. Like, this blows my mind. The five of you couldn't shoot RoboCop from 2 feet away, and she blew this guy up in one shot, and he's halfway across the fucking complex. Like what the fuck happened?
I got him, Clarence.
Oh, dude, that's so good. And I love Clarence's reaction. He's like, oh shit. But yeah, he gets on top of Clarence, gets on top of RoboCop, starts working him over with that fucking pipe, and oh man, one of the brutal scenes where he goes straight through what.
This reminds me of T2. At the end of in the factory when the T1000's got the T800 pinned, and he's got the stake, and he drives the metal stake right through him.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, because the stake, when Clarence Boddicker rams it in, it's kind of where the heart should be if he had one. But I guess he's so used to going for the heart that he's like, no, I don't have one of those, motherfucker. Like, and I love, he's got the blade in him. Sayonara, RoboCop. And like, I love that they don't really show it. You don't really see, like, you see the knife going in, but when he pulls it out, just that afterbirth. Yes, dude. It's like a 100-foot tall man spit a loogie. It's just this. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's fucking brutal and
very memorable. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so good. And to see him just covered in fucking blood. I love the line. Lewis is like, Murphy, I'm a mess. He's like, they'll fix you. They can fix everything. And I was like, oh, that's so fucking good. But what did you think of this final scene?
We don't waste a minute getting here, dude.
No.
We really don't waste a minute getting back to OCP.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we see oh fuck, what's his name? Dick. I'm gonna call him Dick. I'm not gonna call him Richard. We see Dick just saying, there's an Ed 209 posted downstairs. RoboCop and Lewis pull up and fucking. The Ed 209's like, you're parked in a fucking private land. You've got 20 seconds to comply.
Yeah.
To move your car. And you're like, I'm just like thinking, seriously, like, is he gonna blast this guy just for parking in it illegally? But dude, RoboCop pulls out the fucking massive, whatever the fuck what are they called again? They called something. Cobras. Cobra something. Because Clarence calls them Cobras earlier. He pulls it out, lights up the fucking Ed 209, heads upstairs, bursts in on Dick, and he puts him on blast.
Yeah, I love that scene because as he comes up and he's like, Dick Jones is wanted for murder, and he's like, these are very serious charges. What is your evidence? And he's like, my programming won't allow me to arrest a senior officer of this company. And he just walks over, plugs in, and starts playing the shit that ultimately Dick was his own downfall.
The evidence,
he was fucking way too cocky and wound up getting fucking aced over it. But I love as soon as it starts playing, Dick goes for that Desert Eagle. I'm like, why is this still here? Like,
why is it still in the office?
The insurance claims alone were like, okay, no more giant metal monster fights with anything over 9mm. No more 50 cals in the office. Like, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, I want a chopper on the roof, blah, 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 and starts making demands. And I love this, the old man kind of throws in a hand with this. And I love that. Dick, you're fired! And he just elbows him.
Fired!
Thank you.
I love the way he says it. You're fired!
Yeah. And I love how quaint Robocop is. Thank you. And he just elbows him in the ribs, runs off, shoots him out the window. Awful shot of him falling, by the way. It's terrible.
Dude.
The claymation is awful.
Is his arms like longer than they should be?
Dude,
he looks like a fucking monster.
Yeah, he looks like an anti-T-Rex. Like his arms are way longer than they should be. And I was like, what the fuck?
Seriously, if he was to stretch, he could like reach like to the other side of his bottom of his heels of his shoe.
Oh
like,
man.
Seriously.
I'm going to reach over my shoulder to scratch my ass. It's like, wow. I could picture that guy in movie theaters just reaching into the other aisles and getting people's popcorn from really far away.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, basically, we get that.
I love the way this ends.
Yeah, well, one of the funniest parts is he shoots Dick once and then like twice, and then Johnson, the black guy who's friends with Robert Morton, stands up like he's so happy.
Yeah, he's so proud.
Yeah, like I guess because of his friendship with Robert Morton, that's the only thing I can think. But like he looks way too happy to see this guy die.
Yeah.
But I love the way this movie ends with him. Nice shooting, son. What's your name? Murphy.
Just a hard cut to credits.
Yes.
So cool.
Paul Verhoeven said that he saw this somewhere in some American cinema because I think he's Danish. I could be wrong. But he was like, American crowds are so much more into, they clap, they applaud, they cheer, stuff like that. And he said, I guess people had already seen the movie or they didn't know. I don't know what it was, but at the very end of his first American screening of it, he's like, what's your name, son? And he said several people in the crowd just screamed, Murphy! Like all of them fucking screamed like right when he said it. I was like, oh, that must have been a really nice feeling, as a director, because this movie, man, they were hemorrhaging fucking money every day. They were having to go back and they rebuilt the suit like 3 or 4 times off of stuff based from like The Day the Earth Stood Still and Metropolis. Like they were rebuilding the suit constantly, and I love this movie. I'm glad that we've got it in the bag now. I'm a little sad because I movies like this I've got like 10 or 12 of them that I'm just like, no, I'm gonna hold that to like episode 200. Like I'm gonna keep holding on to these. So I like just so I know I've always got one in the bag. Stuff like Blade Runner and The Thing and In the Mouth of Madness. It's like, man, there's so much stuff that I want to cover, but it's like, no, I'm gonna save those for some special occasions and stuff. But yeah, man, that's fucking Robocop. What'd you think,
dude? You know what? I think I'm doing this. I feel like this happens with us all the time. Movies that we don't initially come in very high on. Well, look, I am high on this movie, but by the end of the podcast, we're a little higher on it, just because we talked it out and we appreciate it a bit more. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man, like, this movie's awesome. Just talking about that ending as well, it's absolutely one of my favorite endings to a movie ever. Like, this is a little thing. So whenever I watch a movie with my dad at home, after, like, the bad guy dies or something like that, he just kind of, like, just leaves. Like, just to, like, do whatever else he needs to do. Mm-hmm. Because ain't nobody got time for... They call it a coda. A coda, that's that little part at the end where, it's all happy fucking times. Let's all sail off into the sunset together. Yeah, my dad just fucking walks off. He's just like, yeah, I'm done. And the movie's finished. It's done. So I love that in this movie, man. Like, bad guy dies. What's your name? Murphy. Done. It's finished.
Yeah, we don't have to see, that Murphy is, no, I don't have to worry about my wife, and I don't have to, and it kind of leaves all that open-ended for the second one if you've ever seen it, because there's kind of psychological trauma where he starts, like, stalking his wife and finds out where she lives.
Oh, Jesus.
It's, like, but it's kind of cool. Like, I kind of do like the second one because I think his wife eventually figures out that's Murphy in there. She sees his face and she's like, no, that's Murphy, and no one's ever told her that he was Robocop. So like, it's really cool to see in the second film her dynamic where she's like, nobody ever told me you were still alive. She's like, nobody ever said anything to that about it. And I mean, yeah, for him, his family's been pulled away and yes, you've been brutally murdered and brought back, but there are people who still think that you're dead and those people are living a life like without you. Like, that's fucking terrible, man. I love to see her dynamic of it from the second movie, but we'll get there someday. But I'm like I said, I'm so happy to have covered this. This is a childhood favorite of mine. I've constantly owned this. I think once it broke on DVD that I had it, and I went out like that day and scooped up another copy. And I was like, my film collection does not feel complete without Robocop in it. And I can't tell. I'll be walking around work just as a joke doing the Robocop movements, but like I get decent compliments on it because I've watched it way too many times. Like, and I'm like, no, you got to go shoulders first and then the head and then start like, and I'm like giving like classes on it and stuff. I fucking love doing the walks and shit that he does. And if you ever get the chance, there's some wonderful cosplays of this online. There's people who've done it out of cardboard, and it was it was fucking great. And it was a woman who did it. I can't remember her name, but it was so fucking great. We'll never cover the remake because fuck that. But maybe on like a So Good It's Bad episode, maybe if we start getting into like bonus content and stuff, something, I think it would be great just to have a bonus content of just shitty remakes where it just like, oh, this is so terrible. But yeah, that's for another day. Joe, have you got anything else you want to say?
Not really, dude. I dig the hell out of this movie. Yeah, thanks for picking this one, man. It was great. It was a good flick.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you're better at wrapping the episodes up than I am. I usually tend to forget our shit. So,
well, yeah. If you guys want to check us out, we're on Facebook at Midnight Double Feature. We've got our kind of group attached to that called the After Party. Everybody's always invited to be a part of that and post their memes and their dick pics and funny stuff. Our Instagram is actually getting a lot more activity, which is really cool. I'm actually more personally like in my social media entertainment. I like Instagram a lot more. There's so much good art, and there's so many good things on Instagram. Facebook is good for it's seeing your members and seeing what they like and stuff. But yeah, I'm just super excited to put this episode out for you guys to see it at Midnight Double Feature on Instagram. If you guys ever want to shoot us an email, midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com. Still really want to hear from you guys and get some suggestions and just ways we can improve the show. If there's anything, any kind of critiques or anything like that, I'm definitely excited to hear it. But yeah, if that's everything, guys, thank you so much for checking us out. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of RoboCop, and we will see you guys next time.